All right, guys, we're going to try this again. Welcome to the Space Bro Show, the show that reviews each and every week your favorite aspects of Star Citizen. And joining me tonight are two of my favorite guests, returning now for the third time, if you count tonight as twice. So we have both the Moonshiners and Nighthawk Zale with us.
Yes, the Moonshiners.
And this is the first time we've seen them tonight, so we won't pretend we had audio issues earlier or anything, so.
There was nothing wrong.
You do not need to adjust your screens.
This is par for course now, so it's okay.
Exactly. It's just the way it happens.
Pay no attention to the puppet master behind the green
No doubt. No doubt. All
what is going on, guys? 07s, everybody out there. What's going on, chat?
Good evening, everybody.
And everybody can hear everybody now, right? For reals, for reals.
Hopefully.
I think we're all good all the way around. Gosh, I hope so. Gosh, I hope so. All right. So anyway, this week was actually pretty cool. We're winding down the anticipation of hopefully seeing 2.6 go to the people that shall never be named in chat or stream again sometime in the not so distant future. But that's really all we know and can elaborate on regarding that. But we saw some really cool stuff. What
does that mean? That we can't even reference the fruit that's?
I guess not. I mean, I don't know. If you read some of the chitter chatter out there, apparently they are crack-a-lacking down on that. So in order to protect multiple people, we don't want everybody,
Right.
We're going to have to start wearing... I'm going to have people that come on the show who may or may not be affiliated with a fruity organization start wearing hoods and masks. And we'll give them anonymous names, and we'll have them, have voice synthesizers on there. They'll be like, my name's Fred. And it's like, we'll have to come on there with that, so... The identities have been disguised so they will not be eliminated from testing groups by CIG. It's so bad now.
Yeah.
Which the only part I'll speak on regarding that, just me personally, my personal feelings, not affiliated with anybody else, is the fact that this is so weird that they're cracking down after they've shown so much already regarding this. So it just seems really weird to crack down now when you've shown us the whole kitty.
Well, I mean, I doubt that they've actually shown us everything because there's always something to find.
They've shown us a lot more than they ever did before a Evocati release, in my opinion, over any build.
But I think this is also a longer stint without update since Evocati has come into play. I mean, I can't say that accurately because I am not Evocati, but this is one of the longest stints that we've gone dry. And that being the case, they've probably come to a point where, okay, do we release this last little bit or do we retain it? Because if we release this last one or two details, then we've got nothing left to show to let them play with and discover when it finally comes out. So at what point do they have to start cracking down? How much longer is this delay going to continue? How much do they want to reveal? How much do they want us to be able to discover? Because we've said it before in conversation, 2.6 is not going to be very feature heavy. It's going to be fairly small with a lot of back-end support in preparation for 3.0. So there's got to be something for us to discover. There's always got to be discovery.
Well, at least they want it there to be anyway. So even if there's not a lot of meat and potatoes, they have to make it seem that way because they're going to stretch it out. And because we're still ways off from 3.0. I mean, everybody... And that's the interesting thing about the whole thing. When they originally started talking about the rollout after CitizenCon of 2.6, 3.0, they made it sound like a rapid-fire session. Here's 2.6, and then we'll jump right into 3.0 before the end of the year, and all this stuff, and things, and stuff, and things. And it's that ain't the way it went down,
that's
obviously.
The hope.
Yeah.
Because everyone speaks from a perspective of what they hope to achieve.
Exactly.
No one can really speak with a sense of foresight and knowledge as to what is yet to come. We don't live fourth dimensionally, so sorry to disappoint.
Although it is a young universe and it could happen eventually.
That is pretty. Yeah, that's very true. So many possibilities.
Very much so. All right, so so this week we saw a couple cool things go down. We've seen, obviously, the anniversary sale's been going all week, and many people have been able to grab so much awesome. I mean, it seems like one of the benefits of this project, you can look at it this way, for taking it so long, right, is the fact that because it's 4 years in, they offer 4-year insurance on everything. So if this project eventually goes 20 years before it's done, that means I have to offer 20-year insurance, right? Before we get there to the end of the project,
I mean,
just
that
keep
makes
adding
sense.
every anniversary sale. I mean, we'll have this huge. It's like, well, who needs a lifetime? I mean, 20 years. I'll be lucky. So anyway, I just positive way to look at it. Plus, there's been some good stuff outside of for me, outside of the variant stuff. There's been some great things that have been able to grab up, maneuver around. For the stream, I've been able to utilize my buyback power, melt stuff, grab a bunch of assets for the stream, so that way moving forward all through next year, we should be pretty gravy as far as being able to pick cash back in and unlocking it and doing all that. And for everybody at home that doesn't understand the buyback system, there's several people that have put out some great videos out there on how that works, including Noobifier Board Gamer and as well as some others. I believe STL Youngblood as well, I think, put out some VODs out there for how to melt and how to repurchase and how to do those type of things. So please consult these videos, and if you have any questions, send a message to CIG before you do something that would horribly regret for the rest of your life in the melting and rebuying process. So, Moon, have you picked up anything? Any cool grabs that you've had from the anniversary sale so far? Or?
Yeah. I finally put myself back in the seat of a Cartual. It was a ship that I really liked. I just CCU'd a ship into it. But I really loved that ship, and I kind of regretted melting it a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so get myself back into that. But it was only a CCU up, so I didn't have to deal out tons of money into it. It was just that's little transition into it.
That's good.
Nice.
That's a good grab for sure. Nighthawk, how about you? Anything tickle your fancy, or just kind of?
So a couple of people have been a little upset at me with my decision, but I stand by my decision. With the recent showing off of the rework of the Cutlass, it's really reinvigorated my love for the Cutlass as a ship.
Yeah.
So I melted down my Freelancer Dur, and I bought back one of my Archimedes, and then I bought back my Cutlass Red. But I did the CCU with the LTI, so I've got a Cutlass Red in my fleet in place of Freelancer, and I'm proud of that fact.
I don't think it's a bad maneuver. It's all about what your goals are and what you want. I mean, that's just what it's all boils down to.
Especially with what they showed of it, and how the Cutlass is just, it's night and day difference.
Absolutely. I mean, they're doing so many revisions to the hull and the way that you can use it and its functionality and its approach to embarkation and disembarkment, and just as an ambulance unit, that's definitely a ship that I want aboard my Endeavor Hope when I'm running it as a hospital. I would rather have a Cutlass Red as the S&R vehicle that will approach and retrieve you, because I know for a fact it's going to get you back to me alive and in time for me to actually save you in the surgical unit, rather than hoping that one of my 2 Argo medical pods gets to you in time, let alone brings you back in time.
Yeah.
I think it's a step up.
Well, also, if you think about it from that perspective, I think I call it the pirate minivan now, right? Because it's got sliding doors on it. So, and you could, I could actually picture, as in the Cutlass Red specifically, being able to come up to the aftermath of a battle and rescuing several people, right? Because before it looked like very lace one person at a time through the ramp. I could see you could have 2 guys in there, 3 guys recovering people, bringing them back to the ship. And with the bulkiness of it, I mean, there's so many possibilities where, much like a Coast Guard rescue chopper could actually extract 2 or 3 people. I see the same thing now with the bulkiness of the hull and stuff. So because I mean, how lame is that if you got a Cutlass Red come out and there's a field of people injured? You're like, all right, you're first. I'll be back for the next guy. It's like, wow, that would stink. So I think you're going to be able to do a lot more and be more effective with the new configuration. It's going to be really cool.
How about the fact that you can put a Dragonfly inside of it now? Yeah, that's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And I think the Cutlass Red, like the Cutlass Black, comes with a tractor beam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that could be entertaining.
Yeah. I would use it almost exactly like the Coast Guard rescue chopper now, right? You put a Dragonfly in the back. You have your EMTs on the back stabilizing people. Go out and patrol. Load the ship up. Driver goes take them back to the Endeavor. Unloads your ship. Your 2 EMTs stay on site, still rescuing people and recovering people, and like they just come back and relay back and forth, just like a rescue diver off a Coast Guard chopper.
Well, we're also thinking, based on what we've seen of the Cutlass Black, we don't know what kind of space is going to be required of the medical facilities in the Cutlass Red. So it may not be able to accommodate the Dragonfly.
Yeah, because
that's true.
What Matt Sherman said to me was that you can be very limited on what you can then carry with cargo. So thinking about like this, just to throw into the piracy thing, if like you want to be a pirate, you're going to have your Dragonfly with you. You got to worry about, well, then what else? If you're going to steal a whole bunch of stuff, you're going to be limited because you have to park your Dragonfly back inside of the ship. So that's going to take up part of your SEU. So,
Right.
To think about life pods and stuff.
Yeah, and I'd rather have those 2 extra tables in the back than a Dragonfly.
Yeah.
Because if they do push forward with the idea, what was it, jetpacks or like advanced EVA suits, something like that, where it's basically strapping on a flight suit. You can actually maneuver an EVA a lot more efficiently with those upgrades. So if we can just get the crew of the ambulance to have that upgraded egress tech, then their retrieval of whoever is out there is going to become a lot easier because they can maneuver around whatever debris or other substances, or who knows what the situation is going to be. They can maneuver around safely, accurately, efficiently, and retrieve the people as well in the same manner. I think it's going to be really important, and a lot of people are going to appreciate having that state of readiness when we're bringing them back and recovering them. It's going to help our reputation, it's going to help our profit levels, and I think it's just going to make the Endeavor as a hospital unit popular in general. So I'm looking forward to that, because we're going to take it out into areas that I'm hoping are going to be less regularly traversed, which means that we'll be able to provide a very necessary service.
Yep.
Dude, I'm gonna need your help out there.
My organization plans on having ours
living in space.
We're gonna rent it out to various parties that need that type of medical support in battles and stuff too. So we'll provide the crewing and all that stuff, and we can bring it to your neighborhood. So you have not only if it was a remote area that might need to respawn, but maybe you don't want to respawn at a certain point. You want something closer to your engagement area where you could actually get back into the battle, which gives you logistics over your opponent. Maybe you want a little bit closer to the battle, or a little bit, things like that. Like maybe they have to respawn, clear over this next system or planet facility, whereas you could be in system and respawning and get back into it. So all those things and more. So yeah.
Oh, by the way, if I did the numbers correctly, having a Cutlass Red in my Endeavor Hopes hangar still leaves enough room for me to house an escort fighter on the Endeavor Hopes hangar deck.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to be leaving my Buccaneer there. I think that's a pretty good choice.
Yeah, I think that's definitely. That'd be cool. All right, so outside of that, we've seen the Cutlasses. I don't even know how we got there, but we covered the Cutlass Red and all that stuff. We talked about what ships.
Anniversal sale.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I've honestly, while you've been talking, I've been making my purchases right now. Well,
nobody ever asked you these things.
Yeah, we don't care.
Let's look what we're buying right now. So we'll go to this screen. So right now I have 2 Caterpillars, 4 more Heralds, and 2 Reclaimers in here. And nice. I need to get it up to about 1,900. So I don't know. I need to get a couple more things. And, before everybody freaks out, obviously we're buying this all off our wallet credit, and then we're remelting it so we haven't buybacks for giveaways and stuff. So just a tidbit peek there for you guys on some of the cool giveaways that we hope to have for now and moving into the future. It's going to be pretty awesome.
That Caterpillar, I think, is a phenomenal giveaway.
Well, I only had 3 of them, so I figured I better buy 2 more. Well, for giveaway, I'm thinking all next year. So, so we need to have more unlocks and giveaways. So,
I have one like that.
Yeah. We'll get some dragonflies, but we bought a lot of 85Xs because it has LTI, and
Dude,
we're gonna.
I think that's a great idea. That 85X, I think people are really, really underrating that as a ship.
Oh yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. I think they very much are. Yeah, but I'll make a quick decision on that. Okay, so like I showed, that's what we did. So currently our stock for giveaways, I'll just run through it real quick. We have 23 85Xs, 5 Carracks, 4 Prowlers, 11 Prospectors, 3 Bucks. We'll have 5 Heralds now, 5 Caterpillars, 4 Orions, 7 Banu Merchantmans. That's good. And 2 Reclaimers. Yeah. It's going to be awesome, dude.
Be sure to stop by my channel tomorrow, guys, where I'm giving away a $5 ship skin. I mean, that sounds cool and all, but if you come to my channel,
there's no doubt about it, though, guys. We have to get donations and we have to unlock these. So it's not like we have a stack of $10,000 of ships. Just like, hey, here we go, guys, yay! But we'll have them in reserve to unlock throughout the year and roll out some great things, and it'll be cool. It'll be really fun. And who knows? Maybe we'll get some guys putting something together between multiple streamers, and we'll unlock some cool giveaways and stuff like that. So it could always happen. You never know.
I like that. Both the Rex is like, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Dude, currently we're doing a promotion now. If we raise enough donation money, we're doing a holiday giveaway that's going to run from the 13th through the 24th, and we're giving away a ton of shit for the 12 days of Star Citizen Christmas. So that'll be pretty cool. So we're hoping that we'll be able to do some stuff like that. Either way, you know me, I'll provide some cool things, but we'll see where we get with the donation pool for that, because it'll be really fun. All right, couple little announcement points real quick before we go farther. We did have the second Q&A, right, for the Prowler, which I know Nighthawk read, but I haven't read it all. So we'll look at that real quick. Anything stand out to you, Nighthawk, that was pretty awesome about the Q&A?
The Prowler, a couple of things that I found interesting. One of them, those, what do they call those? Those airtight shields, the air shields.
Air shields, yeah.
If you have the drop doors open and the air shields activated and you're in space, you can fire out through those shields. Yep. So you basically have extra gunners out the sides of the ship. But if the ship loses power in the right way or in the right place, and those air shields go down, it's like the ship suffers some kind of heavy damage to the hull, and the ship just decompresses.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting, because
that's cool.
That's an interesting weak point for people to try and take advantage of. I can imagine someone taking out the power generator on a Prowler, and you just see people get sucked right out the sides.
Note to self, don't ride in the transport area of the Prowler without a spacesuit on. Just saying.
Yeah, if you're in the Prowler, you want to be in the frickin' front seat.
Yeah.
Because those front seats are sealed off and separate from the rest of the cabin.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you're in the back, hold on to your butt cheeks and make sure you got your spacesuit on. You'll be all right.
That was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I saw this. Like, they talked about would it be possible for loanership and all this stuff. They said that they are going to. I don't think they know what the loanership's going to be for this yet.
They were saying in the document here that most likely it's going to be the hoplite.
That's
so
great.
If you purchase a Prowler, until the Prowler is ready for playtime, you're going to be working with Vanguard hoplite.
Yep.
Did you see in today's thing for Aegis where they're showing like the Vanguard? It was the green Vanguard in the background. That's the hoplite, right?
I think it has. I think that is officially the only variant of the Vanguard, because I think there is a difference in the physical form of the hull. Like, I think it's slightly wider, because you know how the back of the Vanguard normally has that pointed end. I think the end on the back is a lot wider. I could be wrong, but I've been working it through my head trying to figure out how the heck the life pod itself, if you change that out, still isn't enough to accommodate drop troops. especially if you're dropping down fast and they're all trying to scramble out the back. That's like a one person at a time ramp. That's not going to work. You're going to get everyone killed. So I'm very interested in seeing that sucker come out.
You know, I've always been for a long time we've talked about some of the potential drop ships and the whole ramp configuration and all that stuff. I just never really agreed with that format on some of the ships. You know, I always thought like the Freelancer makes as good a drop ship as any other ship that has a ramp, right? You just stack a bunch of guys, stay on the back of Freelancer, come in, everybody runs out like, you know, like you're deploying out of any other, you know, military vehicle and do it that way. So I like to see the direction they went with the Prowler and some of the other things. So that way you see different ways to drop people. I'd still like to see something like Day After Tomorrow, you know, where it like suspends and drops guys down, or something that destroys like drop pods like out of 2142 Battlefield, stuff like that. I'd like to see all these different configurations that they might be able to do with the drop.
The Halo
mechanic.
style drop pods would be fun too.
Yeah, exactly. Like mix it up. You know, everything doesn't have to be a ramp with a bunch of dudes running out the same hole. It's like going like this. So all sorts of stuff. So how about a spaceship that like is super cheap and it's just like a cannonball that just breaks apart on impact and all the dudes just run around. Like you fire the dudes at it, kind of like the Van Duel do with their they have the cleaver, right? And it like penetrates the hull of a ship. What happens if the
like a pinata?
Yeah,
it's like a
it's like a
pinata.
Or a Space Marine water balloon.
I really hope that the Caterpillar man cannons aren't just a joke.
Yeah.
I hope they're real.
I hope they have some modules where you can just slap them out and you can do that, because it's like that would be so cool still. I think it'd be really great.
Yeah, right?
It'd be really great. And
then you have a reason for NPCs on your ship.
Yeah. That's great. Props to the mods for kicking that guy too. I tried to get in there and get my wrecked in before he got kicked, but you know, I was like, I love doing that. It's like wrecked, yeah.
He's back.
But,
he's back.
He comes back, but you can just wreck him again if he gets crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Bristol boy.
Yeah, Bristol boy, Jockey, everybody's in there, baby. They're all in there. All right. Well, I'm gonna. Yeah.
So another thing that I found really interesting about the Q&A, they went a little bit more in depth about the phalanx shields, and the phalanx shields I think are a system very similar to what's offered on the Constellation Phoenix, that point defense system. So basically, you have running shield generators, and then on top of those shield generators, you've got the point defense system, and the point defense system is, if I'm understanding correctly, it's either a buff or a whole extra set of layers of shield face, but you actually move them around, sort of like Robotech point defense style. So you're reinforcing the front face, or you're reinforcing the aft face, but it's a manned position. You have to have a dedicated shield
like
officer
shield.
operating that shield in order for it to be fully effective. If you let it run on automatic, you may as well not have it.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty exciting because
That's
once again, it multi-crew, and it's a non-combat position in a combat scenario that's of the utmost importance.
I was gonna say I would not want to be that guy, because if you mess up, it'd be like, Mitauchi, what the hell, bro? Like they're shooting us from the left. Move the damn shield to the left. What are you doing? You know,
those death screens as they decompress. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you don't mind me letting the audience rage, as of right now, the Prowler has no bed or toilet.
Yeah, no toilet, no beds.
Yeah,
where are you gonna shit? Your pants.
You remember the last time they put out a ship and it didn't have a better toilet?
But here's the thing. I'm okay with that, right? Because it's a short range ship. You know, I'm so tired of them like having to put a shitter, which, to be honest, if I have a shitter in my ship, I want an emote to poop, because it's like, it's just so much room and space for aesthetic. I'm like, I want to be able to drop trow. That way, if a guy's talking to me and I'm bored off my ass, you'll just see me drop my pants, sit down and be like, go ahead, tell me about it.
It's like Arc, just press Z.
There you go. Yep.
There you go.
Perfect. It's
broadcasted over.
I get it with the whole immersion thing and the whole RP, but I mean, if you're so desperate that you got RP poop, I mean, I'm just like, come on, man, it's okay. We can get past.
Yeah, but you're totally right. I mean, it's a short range ship. It's meant for an op.
Yeah.
It's not a distance fighter.
Yeah.
You can kind of be like, okay, the Redeemer can get away with it because it has like a living quarters and it has it's a coffee maker and
that would be the basis. If you have a living quarters in your ship and possibly a kitchen, Pooper makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't have a living quarters, much less a full kitchen, then you don't need a shitter. You really don't. Right. It's just my opinion. It's simple.
Go to the bathroom before we leave. We tell you every time, Dan.
Yeah.
Go to the bathroom before. I'm tired of going on a fucking.
What was that old? There was an old space movie where they were talking about the original Apollo missions, right? And they're like, just go in the suit. It's like, just go in the suit. Just go in the suit, man. Just do it. It won't leak out. It's airtight. It's all right. It's your problem. You handle it in your own internal personal space. So, all right. So they talked about the decompression, toilet bed. Yeah. The Gravlevs. People come up with the weirdest shit. Can the Gravlevs be reversed and attached to the ship like a magnet for the other holes? Yeah. And that was actually awesome. It was a weird question, but I was like, that makes so much sense. And Ben came back and said yes. Like he even tweeted about it. He said, yeah. And we have the Twitter right here, actually.
It's not a 100% yes. It's a possibly yes, and they're excited enough to actively look into it.
Well, here's the quote from Ben on Twitter when T-Roy Jenkins, which I love that Twitter handle, T-Roy, he said, hi, Ben. Someone already asked this, but clarify this, but I can't find it. Can the Prowler stick and land to moving capital ships? He says yes. Stay tuned for more on boarding mechanics. Just not quite ready to show anything yet. But he did say yes.
All right, cool.
So we have something else than the document of a maybe. We have a Ben Lesnick yes. So he either hosed himself again or it's actually really going to happen. We'll go with Ben knows what he's talking about, hopefully. And because he is the guy in charge of ships in the end.
He is.
He is. The only person who supersedes him when it comes to boats is Mr. CR himself. So that is it. So that's pretty awesome. They asked if the one-way glass of the Tevarin ship is exclusive, or is there a chance that this is a modular option to other ships as well? I think they were basically, the summary of that is they're trying to stick mostly to the Tevarin type tech and that. But there might be some other ships that utilize a similar mechanic, but not that specific application with their tech, I don't think.
But I kind of like that. I do. Because then it's something that's very unique to the Tevarin and something that no matter where you see it, when you see it, how you see it, you know what you're looking at. They
were originally going to use that type of tech on the Car2All, if I'm not mistaken. Originally in the concept build, they talked about not having any type of actual outward canopy, and then they couldn't do it. Needless to say, a year later, surprise, we done did it. Yeah. So that's really awesome.
Well, I'm glad it worked out, and they're using it for the Tevarin. I think it works for them aesthetically a lot better. Yeah. And not to say that I know a lot about the Tevarin, but from what I know of the genre, it what they went with aesthetically suits the lore much more closely. So I think it was a good decision on their part.
There you go. All right, and along with that, I can't remember who was it who put this up there, but this is the Tevarin heads, the bird heads that we saw.
Yeah,
those are pretty cool.
Email
that excited me.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's cool to see structurally a character so different than what you traditionally see in other space games and specifically even in Star Citizen. So the variety and depth that they're going into with these type of characters is really, really, really neat. And I like that a lot. So yeah, all those things and more on just the Tevarin bit. I thought that was really good. What do you guys think of, moving from there, we went to Around the Verse. What do you guys think of this episode of Around the Verse, just in general overview? What was your impressions, Moon? Like, what did you take away from it? What did you like? What did you dislike? Just a little summary.
Another really good week. They showed off more about the multi-tool and the grenades. Like the detail on them, like when you see like the fiber on the wire going into the multi-tool and the the paint, even on like the grenades. I mean, there's a lot of great content on it, but it's just nice to see where they're going with that. The throwing a grenade underhand and overhand and stuff like that, and how that's going to affect like
that
throwing
aspect
it overhand
alone. I thought was very interesting.
Underhand is it's just going to roll on the ground. It's like a place where you want it to be.
I like it.
Yeah, that aspect was really cool. The underhand to be more of a precise, right? Where it's like you can bowl it exactly where you want it. And the overhand specifically reminded me more of a Battlefield mechanic where you bounce it, when you're playing Battlefield and you try to bounce around the corner, you hit that door jam to go into the room and stuff. I'm like, that is going to be awesome. So really cool stuff. Anything grabbed you, Nighthawk, that you saw on the thing?
For me, it was the multi-tool for multiple reasons. The first and foremost being the fact that it's not a combat weapon.
Yep.
It's a utilitarian item that more than likely every single person is going to carry on them, or at least have in an inventory nearby that they can quickly access, because it's going to be useful. And they're saying besides just cutting and welding, they're already looking into alternative uses for it, including a potential like very low power close range combat weapon of some sort. So like if you switch the welding torch to the combat setting, then the torch turns a different color, maybe gets a little bit longer, and you can just reach out and like stab them with the flame, something like that. But they're exploring options and opportunities with it, and it's made by Grey Cat, so we finally see something more from Grey Cat than just this little buggy to drive around the hangar in, and it's exciting because there's a little bit more depth to the world of Star Citizen.
It's awesome.
To me it's like and we're looking at it right now. To me it's like the Gerber Gerber or Grabber or something, like for those people really that know about construction and stuff. This is the type of stuff. It's like you'd see like instead of DeWalt or Gerber or something like that, it's like you go in there, it's like it's a multi-tool there. I could see attachments to it.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be cool to have a long extension attachment for like long range welding. Those places you can't reach. You could like put it like a extension on it and all sorts of cool stuff. So there's a lot of applications for it that are pretty interesting, I think. And I have to say, I am super excited about the amount of detail you see in both this and like what Moon was referring to the grenades, because this the fidelity on this is just amazing. And they said there will even be an interface screen here on the back thumb area on top there. They aren't going to have it at launch, but they'll put it in there and they'll have some readouts and stuff. So that's pretty cool. You'll get feedback. Cool. So I can imagine maybe you'll have a similar mechanic to what they spoke with mining, where you might get some feedback, right? You're cutting, and if you're cutting in a bad area, you can blow through or not blow through, or if you're welding, you can kind of temper your weld like you would, right? If you go too hard or too soft, maybe there's a median area there. But that and these grenades are just so exciting.
I really like the design approach they took to the grenades, because even though the shapes read almost identically, because of the colors that they choose and certain shapes on the bodies in certain placement, just by looking at it, oh, okay, so that's the incendiary, that's the EMP, that's the smoke, that's the radar, that's going to be a lot of fun. And it's also going to leave me to wonder, are we going to be able to kick grenades back? If they don't cook it long enough, either toss it back or kick it back, but something. Will that be possible? That would be so much fun to try and pull off. Especially if you do pull it off. It wouldn't be fun if you mess up.
That'd be so funny too with I get caught now in Battlefield all the time trying to throw back an incendiary grenade because it just hits on contact. I'll see a grenade in the air, and I won't know it's incendiary, and I'll try to grab it, and I'll just catch on fire and burn up. So that would be really interesting on this, too, to do that. Plus, I love the luminance from the EMP and the incendiary. It's like it's holding fire and holding energy in it. So even if, say, as far as drops go, like if you eliminate an opponent in Star Marine or something, and the grenade's laying on the ground, you can easily visually identify what type of grenade that is. So if you're in a firefight, is it worth trying to slide across the floor, across the room, and grab that grenade real quick? Or if that's a smoke grenade, I'm not going to risk my life to get a smoke grenade across the room.
So hold on just a quick second. Backslash 900 is saying, I'd like to see more regarding non-lethal as well. Maybe some sort of sedative mod for the multi-tool. That's a pretty good idea. But I want to point out to you first and foremost, Backslash, that we are starting to see non-lethal weaponry with these grenades, because you've got at least two, an EMP grenade and the radar grenade. Those two are meant to affect technology, not biology. So when those go off, they shouldn't have an effect on you.
Well, and we haven't had an updated doc on the medical, and I would think if they had anything for sedation or anything like that, we'd probably see those type of things, maybe along with the medical tools type things. So I don't know. I mean, I know while we're thinking about sedative in a combat role, like using a non-lethal combat role sedative is probably the application you're talking about, but I could still see that, like, because say you're going into the medical field inside the game, it doesn't mean you're just going to operate on players. You would think professionally you would be operating majority even on NPCs, right? You would do all sorts of different things for that as well, so that way you could carry on and make a profit as that. You're not going to wait for each player to get hurt and do that. You're probably going to...
I mean, if you're running a hospital to make a profit, I would assume that you have to service NPCs.
Absolutely.
You can't survive on a population of players alone when the universal population is built on a 10-to-1 ratio in favor of NPCs.
Yep. So
well, hold on. Well, just to add on to that, not to skip forward to today's reverse the verse, but that exact question was asked, and when he took the question, chat kind of went crazy, and I'm only going to assume what the chat was because people asked, like, what's going to happen with non-lethal weapons, and he said, well, 99% of the weapons that we're making are going to be lethal. Now, that's not to say that in all that there won't be non-lethal weapons. I mean, there was something that was sold a long time ago. If you bought the Cutlass Blue, and that was the stun baton.
Oh, the baton, yeah.
Now, again, I feel like a whole bunch of people probably got scared when they saw them talk about that today, but that's just because that artist is not working on those tools, and he's making weapons that are for lethal use. Doesn't mean that, like, we won't have these kind of things in the future. Well, this is just a game that's still in development.
Well, and not only that, the fact is we have to understand what lethal in the universe of Star Citizen means, right? Because even when you use lethal applications, like, say, Moon's character is shot riddled with bullets, it doesn't mean he's dead. It's so hard to kill a character in this. They're making it, Chris Roberts already said, he's going to make it very difficult for somebody to die. What would kill a normal person, you can regenerate and be healed from in a set amount of time and all this stuff. So much like you can in, like, a Battlefield game where you're down and you're bleeding out, even in Star Marine, from what I saw in the demo, you're going to be able to, you're bleeding out, you took severe damage, you will be able to try to inject and nanite heal yourself. I mean, you're going to be able to recover from catastrophic damage. Your ship blows up. Supposedly, you can survive that even to a certain degree. You'll be unconscious and needing rescue within a time period, and it'll be your option to take a death, right? If you're out in the middle of nowhere in the void, and that's your choice. But you could also wait for rescue and preserve that one life if you have, like, only 5 lives or 6 lives or where they determine in the end. So
they have the technology; they can rebuild you.
Exactly. It might require bionics, it might require different things, but what will kill you, like what we see now in Star Citizen, where we just die and respawn in 2.5, is not going to be the mechanic of death inside the future when we go down the road to beta and all that stuff down the field. So it's a lot different. So people should not be scared by the word lethal. Everybody's worried about death of the spaceman, all that stuff. But if you also read into that, the technology that they have can regenerate you from almost anything. It's kind of like, I relate to Fifth Element, right? Where they have the girl's hand, like her whole ship blew up and they got her hand and they re-DNA map her entire body off of her hand. I think you're going to have that type of
sequence.
I know. I think you're going to have that type of, almost, maybe not quite that severe, but that type of regenerative ability with the proper medical facilities to where you will not lose these lives to the degree of what people are worried about. Now, if you just go out in the middle of nowhere and you're a dread pirate and you have no support and you're not going to call for backup, yeah, you might just eat death like nobody's business. But I think in the proper environment, you're going to be fine. So I wouldn't stress about it.
Well, here, I think it's more or less of people just wanting the option. Because again, there were those advocacy tools, the Faction 9 Baton and the E&I M34 restraint system. So these are things sold back in the day. I just think people, just going back, just because that one artist in today's Reverse the Verse is working on lethal weapons, and he's only talking about himself, but not this. And he clarified saying that doesn't mean that these non-lethal weapons won't be made. It's just right now that's what he's working on. So
and
the art's gonna be working
and they're going to have to
have
something for bounty hunting, obviously, because I mean you don't want to kill everything. Some contracts will be captured alive. So
we've also forgotten about the Sucker Punch distortion cannons from Joker.
Yes,
those are like the ion cannons in Star Wars. They're meant to destabilize your energies aboard the ship to like destroy the technologies. It's like shooting an EMP cannon instead of exploding an EMP blast.
Yep. So there it just goes to show there's already some stuff that's either out there or going to be iterated on as far as non-lethals go. But yeah. So it's going to have more good stuff like that. I'm trying to remember this next part. They were showing some of the gosh, I don't even remember seeing this part. The modular,
the station modularity.
Yeah.
Dude, it's sort of like a micro continuation of a segment that they did a few months ago. But oh my god, is it looking good?
It's looking really good.
So good.
They showed the on the planet, like the homestead.
Yeah, this looks homestead module. This one here.
Yeah, these are great.
I love that.
What I really like is that they're figuring out this system based on modularity. So it doesn't matter if you're down on the ground or up in space, and what sector of space for that matter. If it has certain modules on it, you can tell from a given distance exactly what that station is, what it provides, and whether or not you even want to be there.
Which is so really important, right? Because, I mean, when you're going around, let's say whether you're in a nefarious mode or protective mode or whatever, and you see structures and buildings and weapons, it's so important to be able to recognize these at a glance that you don't have to go full investigator. You know, it's like, oh, that's just a training facility. They don't have any communication modules on it, or this is something else. And you can identify these structures and then move on. So I think that's really good, and they make them also visually pleasing. They didn't just go like with a planet side or something else like, we're just going to make this red and blue and this and just make the same cookie cutter buildings. They've really given them shape language and make them really neat for even a simple structure. And that's so cool, man. I'm really pumped about all this stuff.
That's what they've been doing up to this point, is developing the appropriate shape language. And now that they've figured out what that is, oh my God, dude, some of the stuff that they're going to throw down,
it's going to be crazy.
3.0 is going to be a lot of fun. Flying around the Stanton system, the various planets with their moons and the various asteroid fields and space stations. There's going to be so much more to explore. Like Crusader system we're going to look back on it like the original hangar module and be like, hey, you remember when the hangar was one room, and if you bought another ship, it was 2 rooms, and if you bought another ship, it was 3 rooms?
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
And the thing about it, once we get to 3.0 and the netcode comes in, and if everything's all, jiving and they're able to iterate on that, think about the amount of space that opens up. We already have enough space now, and people don't think about this, but even though we're around a single planet with maybe, about 4 or 5 space stations, a couple little areas, and only really like one area to FPS in that's viable, you could add now some of these space stations, all this stuff. Once you if you could just even unlock the planets we currently have around, the amount of terrain and stuff you have is insurmountable compared to some games. And then once you add in, because people come to me all the time and say, oh, compare it to Eve space-wise, compared to ED space-wise. I'm like, it's so different because it's not like a Plaza just plain mapped planet, right? Even this desert planet that we're going to go into here next on Hurston and them talking about those things is so detailed. It's interesting to walk in like a football field of area, much less an entire planetary area. So it doesn't get boring as easily. And then this is without structures. This is without NPCs. This is without anything. And we're already like, wow, look at that. So it's just from there, it's just going to build upon. and be amazing. So I just can't wait till once they expand the system. We could basically be in the 3.0 point size system for all of next year, and they could still infinitely add shit to it, just structure wise and stuff, and different types of gameplay in that big of area without expanding more space, without people worried about the second solar system, without any of that stuff, and go on for at least a year just developing that. At least. And it still be viable. So it's really we're at that pinnacle, just kind of like where we went to 2.0, right? We're at that pinnacle point here where we're nearing the next few months where we're going to jump from, hey, you're locked into Arena Commander in your hangar to, hey, here's space. Now, this is going to feel like, hey, this is a universe, even though it's only a solar system. You know? So it's just going to be amazing. And this just blows my mind. This is so cool looking, the way they structure everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the detail, you can see, and again, you can see the detail go in and out, and you can say, hey, that looks kind of whatever. But then you look at it when they got like detailed procedure, like right here where they've improved the objects and the guy's just like running around. That looks really good to me. And that's not even their final iteration of like what they're doing at all.
Is it weird that I was disappointed with the Hurston segment for no other reason than the fact that there was no mud statue of a man named Jane?
It is not unexpected when it comes to your expectations that you would feel that way. But no, it's not surprising. But I understand. Yeah. It's just
This looks so cool, man. The planetary surface looks so nice.
You know, I'm no graphic designer or anything. I know.
Look at all that fidelity. Oh, there we go. There's the clouds.
Oh, yeah, the sunlight through the clouds. Oh, man.
Fidelity.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy. Like, I think
Moon's
I think people
absolutely
are
decided to like make me drunk tonight. So.
I think because of the approach that they're taking to this artistic style and the variation on planets and solar systems, there's going to be so much to see. It would not surprise me if people traveled from planet to planet just to watch sunsets.
Well, you know, before, I'll be honest, with the whole Starliners and the tour shit and all that stuff, I'm like, what kind of lame-ass crap is that? Who wants to get on a boat, a space boat, and just fly around? But now,
my cousin wants to do that.
I understand, but now look at the universe. Look at the sights you see without even structures being there. And I can see why some people would be like, I just want to see everything and go on like spaceship tours around areas and just want to see it. And I just have to point out, in case it wasn't pointed out many, many times before, this guy's grabbing the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
of the entire solar system.
It's not and it's not a map. It's actually a physical planet the size of the sun that he's grabbing, just being like, yeah, let's just. And I'm like, if you have that kind of engine control, really anything's possible. Because just graphically, for me to create a sun in the sky when I was just doing like basic graphics and stuff like that, I'm like, that would like make my machine like take a crap back in the day. And he's physically grabbing a 3D object out in space that's like the size and volume of this entire planet, if not bigger, that he's on, and just being like, yeah, we'll just drag it down there. I'm like, psh.
Arcesius, the idea behind traveling from planet to planet for sunsets is because every planet has a different composition to its atmosphere, and different components are going to cause different effects to occur. So what you're looking at on one planet isn't going to be the same thing on another. You might be looking at a sunset not unlike our own on a planet like Terra, but if you go 2 solar systems over, there might be a planet where when the sun gets to a certain degree, the entire atmosphere looks like it catches on fire and you're standing under an aurora borealis the size of the planet. Like that could be something really amazing to see. And so for some people, they are just going to fly to the other side of the planet to watch the same sunset and sunrise. But other people are going to want to see and compare. You do have the option to take pictures in the universe, create videos within the universe, and transmit those within the universe to other locations and other people. So it's almost going to be a sort of like a second life experience where you vacation your character away from what you normally do with it.
Yeah. It's crazy, but it's true. It's like if you think about it, and if you've been involved in any larger MMO universes, like those people that played Star Wars Galaxies, anything like that, people go to great lengths to like synthesize these type of experiences, even when the gameplay isn't there to do so. You have people that are like full-time dancers in a game where it's such a small aspect of the game. It doesn't have like all these other aspects to it, and they find these niche things to do on a very large scale. So it's very plausible in this type of environment with these type of graphics and elements that people will find all kinds of shit to do. That's just like, it might not appeal to everybody else, but I mean, you could find content and immersion in about anything.
That's right, Kamikaze, damn it. The Mako. Exactly right.
Yeah. I definitely want to get a Mako before it's all over with, just because I want to be able to do those high fidelity videos, like even if they're just like org videos or mapping out systems, displaying new planets. It's not going to be a news van job for me, but to have the camera system, that kind of control to do it with the 3-dimensional cameras and what they have on board is going to be amazing.
I'm very interested to ride in someone's Mako and be in the secondary seat, because I have a Reliant. I've flown the Reliant. I know what the experience is like, but I want to know what it's like to be in the gunner's seat. And instead of having a gun, I'm using a video camera.
Yeah.
That's a totally different experience. That's really cool.
What's the exploration? That's the Sen?
The Sen. Yeah, that's the one that I got.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of the base Reliant, but all of the goodies that come with the other ones, like the Sen and the Mako, seems like that's gonna be fun. Like the guy who's sitting in the back quarters messing around with like swapping from camera to camera. I don't know if we're gonna have drones. I'd like to have drones. Like you set up something here, you set up something here. In theory crafting. But I'd like that, being able to like get those shots and having it all recorded or streamed or whatever the hell you want to do as a content creator. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much detail, and that's the type of gameplay I'm also really wanting to see. Not necessarily just a Mako, but anything break out in. We want some other gameplay, and I know Nighthawk echoes this all the time, other than combat. And hopefully, as we get to 3.0, we'll have that cargo. I think once we have cargo, maneuvering, everything else will just start to break loose. Because I think what this Star Marine to me symbolizes not the final iteration of, but the final building block of combat. There is like we'll have every basic element of combat in, outside of maybe like the boarding mechanics totally locked in, right? Once we have that in, I feel like everything else will just be iterations and expansions off of those base elements. Up to now, we have not had good FPS gameplay. The ship gameplay has been touch and go. Sometimes it's better days than others. They're going to have some iterations where they're hopefully going to get more to their basic building block or where they want to be with that now. And we'll be able to say, okay, combat, you're good for the moment. We'll iterate on this. Let's get some core gameplay mechanics on some other elements. And that's my real hope, because that's what's going to flesh us out to more than a combat game. It's going to flesh us out to a full universe and, have some other aspects to it that's really going to be more interesting for a wider variety of players. So that's my real hope. Let's see. So what else were we shown there? We saw a little bit of the video. I missed the I've seen it. I don't have it with me. The video of who produced that video this week? Somebody put out like a fan video.
Oh no. Hold. I have it.
I know. I brain fart.
I was in it. I'm in it. That's my constellation in the first scene.
Oh well, you should know.
Yeah.
Yeah, link that up. I wanted to show that real quick before we got into the Star Marine stuff, because they were just talking about that on the thing. So if you get a link it in Space Bros. And Xeron
is, and here it is. This is up here. I'll post it in Space Bros. Xeron did an awesome job at this, and he had so many people here. And I mean, I dude, listen, I dealt with the dude a whole bunch. There's a few times where I was like, I can't help out, but he had spent weeks, months on this thing, and was like, he really went to the community got his back, and here it is.
Awesome.
Space Bros. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Xeron, awesome job. Fucking I'm glad he got MVP for it too.
Yeah, definitely. It was well deserved in that regard. So we'll drop down here. I don't have this framed out for everybody, but that's okay. You're gonna take me off screen too. We don't need to look at me.
Can I link it in chat?
Yeah, throw it in chat. Absolutely.
So this way, everybody should upvote this, and maybe even follow him over onto his.
We're gonna watch it real quick. It's only 5 minutes. Let's watch it. Yeah. We're gonna play it real quick for everybody.
Let's do it.
Do it, man.
Go give him an upvote.
Gonna be watching it on the delay.
Totally worth it though.
Well, good, because then when you guys are done watching, I'll know what's over.
Here.
What just happened?
Awesome.
Looks like someone has a jammer active out there. All range comms are down. Sarah will kill me if we're jumped again. All hands, battle stations.
Nice.
Alright, you try flying the 52. You see this laughing bit? Cut the chatter. Eyes open.
The jammer is active and holding steady. Constellation excite boss. They launched their parasite fighter.
Get the parasite first.
Aye aye, boss.
Get prepped, you sluggards. Vanta protocol.
In position. Open fire.
Contact now.
Oh, Sergeant Jockage is in the video too.
Oh shit!
Scratch one parasite.
Combat power! Webs! Lock that cutlass! You better be shot! Aaron, I need more power!
Let their fire. Cut crossing start.
This is not! Fire! First, engage for back online! Archangel, we're under attack. We need immediate assistance.
Fox 1.
Oh no! Brace!
Disable their engines.
Archangel Squadron, Falcon 2 is under attack. Jump on my command.
Breach.
Sneak up on the door. Let's pay the captain a visit.
The cowards locked it. Good thing I brought a key. Sangu, willing him as weapon foes do.
No, please, no!
Pathetic.
I know it's here. Where is it?
I'll die before I tell you.
Yes, you wish.
Sarah, I'm sorry.
Contact!
Overhead engage!
Attach, detach! Bailout! No!
This is the UEE military. Stand down.
Never. Kill him.
Archangel to the Retribution. Fire.
Now, if you stay to the credits,
Yep.
he gets just awesome. He did such a good job.
Falcon 1, this is Archangel. Decoy is down. We will escort you to delivery.
Such a great job, man.
Yep. It's really
Worked
good.
so hard on this. So hard on this.
It's really good. Really, really good. Guys, I do encourage you to go check that out. It's really good. Give him an upvote, show him some love. And it was a good time for him to release that because obviously with the models changing and everything else, you want to release it in the moment when you fit all that hard work into it so that way you can really display what's going on with it. But I think for a fan-made video, that was really good. And the camera work on it was point on. I really have to say, because the hardest thing to capture when you do that type of machinima or anything is the camera, because they only give you a limited type of cameras you can deal with. So you have to think about it. Every time they're doing the barrel rolls on the ground and stuff, it's like they have to cut and edit and put all that together, but you need those camera shots to begin with to really express the story. because you don't have
Absolutely.
mouth movement and stuff. It's really good.
Yep.
I was very impressed with that.
He actually, you could tell that he really takes his art seriously because he has the #1 most important sci-fi film trope in place. The first time you see a ship in this entire piece, it's a flyby over the camera, Star Wars style.
Yep.
That is the standard. If you don't do that,
That was my
it's not
scene.
really a sci-fi thing.
That was my constellation.
All right. Well, now you know.
There are many like this, but this one was moons. Yeah, it was very good. It was very good.
Yeah,
it was really good. Yeah.
All right, now this right here, I know it's hard to see because probably it's a little dark, but I gotta say one thing about the Star Marine stuff. Oh my God, they have weapon sights. So that was good.
Right.
And then I just totally screwed up the video there. So we'll watch the small boy like play with the dog for a second. Oh yeah, this is Chris Roberts as a small child trying to create video games out of his puppy. Just in case you didn't get the reference there, that's what that was all about. So
that makes sense.
So let me go back to the right video. Good God. We just got added those little whimsies. Cover up my misclicks. Anyway, gun sights. So awesome. I'm so happy to have gun sights that it'll be amazeballs just to have gun sights. So I've played so long without sights, and many times I use finger guns. So I'm super excited about this. So is cargo worth dying for?
I've stopped using them altogether. Like I don't even pull it up to aim now. I just do all hip fire. And I walked into Korea today and I killed a whole bunch of guys just hip firing, just ba 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 ba. Say hello to my little friend, and not even caring. And it was awesome.
Dude, people give me so much shit because I don't ADS a lot of times. But the beautiful thing about Star Citizen, this is what people always forget, because when the guns work, the bullet origin is from the gun, and it's not from middle of your screen, so they don't synthesize. And this is like something I probably shouldn't tell everybody, because it's how I get so many kills in Korea. It is dead on accurate from hip fire, and people don't realize it because the bullets originate from the gun and go right up to there. So it doesn't matter if you're ADS or you're hip fire. There's no bullet dispersion. So when I fire my first shot off, I can hit you from the hip in the face, and I'll pull the trigger faster than in the half second to 1 second delay of you going like this. So that's why I get my shot off 9 times out of 10 faster than somebody else, because I just pulled the trigger. I don't go ADS first. I'm just like, pull trigger. Oh, hit you in the nose. Then shooting bullets up your nose. It's really good. I like it. So it's almost like if you've ever seen or had the opportunity to see an actual speed shooter at a event in real life. You know, like you get some of these 6-shooter guys and stuff. I've had the opportunity over in Kansas a couple times to see some of these events. A lot of these guys with the high speed, nobody ADSs. They're quick fire from the hip, just like you would in the old 1800s, because that's a faster draw than it is to aim up or bring it up and all that stuff. They go quick fire from the hip and they hit it off, and it works really well for guys who are skilled in that way. Well, Star Citizen is one of the few games that simulates that. So, in this here, they're talking about the different mantling animations. I'm so excited that they're going to have this actually in there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty exciting to see. I like this tree that they had put together where it was going through the process of you're in this state and we're going to move through this state to get to this state because that's what the player wants to achieve.
And I want to highlight this for a second, right? Because right here it says motion movement, right? And this, we haven't seen even a little bit of mantling until this video, right? We haven't seen them ever mantle until this video. I don't think I've seen it in any of their other vids or anything.
Nope.
This is the amount of mantle animation that they have. Mantle high, so climb up and go over railing. Mantle from walk. I keep screwing it up. Quit clicking, Mitauchi. I know where it is now, though. Mantle from run up high, sprint mantle high. I mean, it's crazy. And then I saw the jump gap to ledge grab.
Yes.
What?
I didn't even realize.
Yes.
Are you really going to be able to grab the edge of stuff and pull? Like, what? And then
awesome.
it goes back up to the sequence, right? Like you could go from that motion to another animation. I'm like, so crouch to mantle high, so you can actually go from a crouch behind object, jump up, and jump over an object.
Mm-hmm.
That just blows my mind. The amount of animations. This is why it's taken so long. The amount of animations that they've had to do this, it's just got to be incredible.
And it all has to be proper. Like it all has to like look the same in third person and first person.
Not just
It's
proper. Chris Roberts proper. So I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
This is like. And they have a door check animation that's different on a mercenary than on a soldier. There's a mantle high.
Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Again, I'm watching on the delay, but yeah. There's Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cobra, la, 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 la.
Joe's. I mean, look at the motion track on that. They're like, that's so good.
It's crazy.
Yep. And how good all that looks, yeah.
Very much worth waiting for.
I'll tell you what, it makes me miss my Glock 21 because that's exactly what that pistol looks like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just the amount of detail is insane. It's so good. God, it's getting hot in here. I got the window open. It's still getting warm. I'm so happy. I got my Discord partner jacket here. Where's the little thing? It's got the little...
Nice.
Yeah. Came in the mail today. I was like, oh. There it is. The little Discord symbol thing. It's pretty cool.
That is nice, sir.
Mm. I didn't get to brag about this before, but 2.5 weeks ago, I was working the roller coaster, and
that's not slang for something really bad, is it?
No.
Okay. Good.
This guy sits down in the back row, and he's wearing Republic of Gamers swag.
Oh, really?
And so we just started talking, and he noticed my Star Citizen pin, so we started talking Star Citizen. Mm-hmm. And he rode the ride twice, and the whole time going through, it was just Star Citizen this, Star Citizen that, Star Citizen everything. And turns out he actually works for ASUS.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was really cool. So I spent like a half an hour talking to someone who works at ASUS about Star Citizen, and they're totally a citizen. Like they're invested in the game. They're excited for it. They follow it. It was really cool.
Anything that stretches people's tech in gaming, they're going to want to be a piece of this game, or because it's like the same thing. Like look at Crysis, right? When Crysis was originally out, every gaming hardware company out there said, "Yo, this is what our shit runs like on Crysis 3. Check it out," or something. So they use that. That was forever the staple, and I look forward to Star Citizen maybe being that staple. Be like, go to Tom's Hardware. This is how the computer runs on Windows. This is how it runs on Word. This is how it runs on Star Citizen. It's like, oh, the benchmarks.
Yeah.
So that'd be crazy.
I think that's coming pretty quickly.
Oh, I think so. I think it's going to be there. And this is another thing we could break down real quick.
Man.
Okay, this is just on grenades, right? This is a tree for how grenade animations work. It's like so good. Initiate the cook idle. Cook idle?
It's brilliant.
Aim poses. Cook idle. Additive idle. Throw animation. I'm just like, high throw, low throw.
Yeah.
And how you pose the arm. And I'm like, that is...
Well, under...
Yep.
I'll paint this off that edge.
It's so good. Yeah. I can't wait, man. I want to be able to do custom matches to where we can do grenades only.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun. Everybody always does pistols only. Nobody does grenades only. I want to do grenades only. Like, you cook grenades and we just run around. Like,
I think this game has potential for some very interesting knife fights.
It's very much.
Dude. Did you hear them talk about, like, they talked about
kills?
Like, what about just punching? I just want to punch somebody. Like, that's all I want to do. And then, like, just stab a guy in the neck. Oh, dude, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be really nice to get it.
Look at, and I love how grenades
More like
react like
LA combat.
in the space. Like you can take these objects in different environments and they'll just react so differently, but you can still track them because of the way they visually made them. So it's really,
It's really well done.
yeah.
I really enjoyed this. You have to go back and rewind that so everyone can see that again. Pay attention. When he's in zero gravity and he throws the grenade, he lets go and it just flip till it hits the gravity well of the station and then it arcs down onto it. Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
It's going to be really interesting because when you like are trying to, enter another section of the station, you can basically be EVA. You throw your grenades down, and it's just going to like magnetically attract to the ground right there. So you throw them at the door. It's like base.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me think of you remember when what was it, like 2.2, where people were very regularly hanging out in the shadow on the ring Korea and sniping people as they were coming in to land. Like you can imagine people with grenades up there just lobbing them down.
Well, Chris Roberts will be doing that because they alluded to in the beginning of this episode of ATV, they were talking about the fact that he was like, and every time I get sniped by somebody, he just looked at Chris Roberts because Chris Roberts likes to sit up there and snipe everybody, apparently.
Yeah, I wonder how many times he's done that to like you or me. Where
you don't know. He's
Sam with 342 and it's Chris Roberts.
Yeah, player 110-1. He just logged in. He's like, I'm gonna troll these fools and snipe.
That would be great. I would love to know I've been targeted by CR. You mean I got to play with CR? That's awesome.
Didn't even know it.
Who cares that he killed me?
No. The devs, I've always, every time I've run into any dev inside the game that's actually labeled as such, like CIG, it's like we always get an entanglement, and then if I kill them, they teleport me out in the middle of space somewhere. Just as a troll. They do it every time. And at first I thought it was a game bug. The second time it happened to me, I said something in chat, and they're like, damn right I did. It's like responding back to me in chat. It's like, damn right I did. It's like, damn it. That's what happens when you cap a dev.
That's funny.
It's like, command Mitauchi, middle of nowhere. So yeah, I like the flow of the station here, how it's like not really symmetrical and it's got multiple layers and levels.
Yeah. That's
going to make it really interesting. Because one of the things I find in the last iterations of some of the more modern FPS games, it's really more dynamic to be able to fight up and down stairs and up and down things because you have to encounter everything differently.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it really well in a lot of games, and I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, but there's like different rooms. Yeah.
You know one thing we haven't heard about in a while, though? Turning on and off gravity in anything.
They have covered on that before.
Recently?
I mean, it's been
I know they have
months
before,
since
but that's what I'm saying.
Even as of today, when they're talking about the EMP, and it's gonna have to deal with once they start getting the power cables running through rooms. So what if like you can disable gravity in a room? I'm thinking that's what they were talking about. Maybe
that could be interesting.
I don't know, but
well, for those of you who played Call of Duty, they have those anti-gravity grenades in it. So an EMP effectively would act like that. It just raise everybody up in that one room, and you could like mow them down. Because they wouldn't have any traction. Like,
especially if they're not ready.
That's exactly what. There's a grenade mechanic in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare where you throw a grenade and over a set area, it just makes everybody float up. Anti-gravity thing. And it's like, then you just kill them all because they're all like kind of disoriented and helpless floating there. So I could see that happening. That'd be fun.
Yeah, like Flying Gecko says, I don't think they said gravity would be on and off and won't be until 2.6. Yeah,
no.
It's definitely not 2.6.
These are like far, because again, they don't have the technology or they haven't designed this yet, but it's things that like they're thinking about and would like to go to.
Yeah, and like Crazed and Confused said, I really do hope they have GM game events. That would be great. Like in Star Marine, have a tournament. They like the devs get on a team, and then we come up in teams and we do that against them. I'd love that.
They've talked about it. They're they're still trying to get the basic mechanics in place. So until they have the foundation established, I don't think they're going to be doing anything like that.
You know, I'm surprised they didn't. Did they ever do anything like that in Arena Commander though? Because a lot of games do that, right? A lot of games do it where it's like they'll do a day, like a community day, and the devs will band up together on like different game communities, and they'll do that. So
once or twice they have done Fly with the Devs Day, and so at different points of the day, various members of the dev team will have time allotted away from work to sit down and play, and then it's just a random state of, is someone in the instance with me? Who is it?
Right.
Do I want to play with them or do I want to play against them? And I think they've only done that twice.
See, I'd like to see a gameplay event like they do in EVE Online. They actually have a event that they'll do, and they'll just schedule them. And what they do is a bunch of different company members from EVE will make an entire fleet, and it'll be like some hardcore fleet that the stats are buffed up on, and then the whole community can try to descend upon them and take them, and they'll have like they'll have like dev ships, you know, so it's like you're not cracking these easy, but you could like drop thousands of people on this group of like 50 to 100 of them and try to like wipe them out and stuff, and it's fun, you know, it's a fun battle thing, and it just kind of something for that community. I would like to see the devs at some point, like obviously you don't want to take them away from building the game, but get in there and do that type of iteration, that kind of fun gameplay, like versus. That would be pretty cool to see.
Absolutely, but I think it's important right now for them to be able to focus on getting us into the 3-point series. Once we have the Stanton Sim system open to us, and we're able to get down onto those planets and start exploring those wide open spaces, I think that's going to allow for opportunities like that to open up. It might even mean that it's time for them to expand the team even further and start considering a small GM team, because now that the game is large enough, not only in scale but also in functionality, if we have cargo in place, if we have some kind of basic medical function, we'll have salvage and repair coming up pretty quickly. With enough of those mechanics in place, they can start building like a 24-hour instance, and they can have a rotating crew on their end who sort of plays it out or plays through or whatever they're supposed to be doing to keep it alive for the community to experience. And that would be almost a living thing in and of itself. But there's so much that isn't in the game right now to support that sort of exploration on their end. I'd love to be at that point. And
I think it'd start out more as a, you know, maybe expand the community team and having the community managers probably get involved with that first and foremost would probably be where you'd be with some of that before you dive into a full blown, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and this is like regular devs in there and all that. But because we see the community team pretty active now in Twitch and all over the place, but it'd be cool to see them in game.
I don't think you'll really see any active movement on their part towards that end until we're basically at the point of beta.
Yeah, more than likely, you're probably right. Doesn't make me not want it to happen though.
Oh no, absolutely. Ideally that's what we want happening in the game right now, because that's what drives the multi-crew experience, and the core of this game is based around the multi-crew experience. So anything that supports that multi-crew experience and brings this game even more to life is something we want now, and we should want now, because that's the dream that we're invested in. So let's make it so.
So beyond ATV, we'll do a quick, short and sweet RTV thing, and then we'll get in some questions for you guys. If you guys want to ask some questions, please hop in the Discord. There's a link for questions, and I see some people have thrown some stuff in there, but we're going to bulk that up. If you need the question thread, it should be under the command question questions. It looks like we'll execute that. But you can go ahead and link them in there in Discord, and then we'll get to those here after we do this little summary, and then we'll also get the gift card that we're going to be doing up for Raffle right before we go to questions. So on RTV today, which I did not get to watch, but we do have some of the summary notes here. Basically, what they did was they talked a little bit more about the concepting of the weapons, obviously, like what Moon and Nighthawk talked about, because that's the artist they had on today. It was David Siba. That's his name? It looks like according to the notes here. Weapon artist.
That's either Siba or Sibo.
S-I-B-A.
There was some discrepancy in the video.
Yeah.
Brian Chambers wasn't even sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then you also had Todd Pappy drop in as well.
Yep.
So they talked about the start to finish 2D, 3D concept and how they blocked out different weapons. And they talked about, again, they even mentioned here what Moon was talking about earlier, that there will probably be non-lethal weapons more focused on down the road, but not for 2.6. Additionally, you'll be able to customize your sights on guns, which will be cool. We expected that, though. You can do that in every real shooter type game. So kind of anticipate that. And they also mentioned, again, that most of us already heard that have been here a while, weapons will have regular wear and tear like ships do. Everything in the game people need to refocus on and remind people that are new to the game, these things do degrade. And your ship insurance does not cover the maintenance of wear and tear. That's a whole separate mechanic and stuff. That's if it gets blown up. So no flamethrowers, because oxygen's important in space. So apparently somebody posed the question of flamethrowers. All the alien type weapons won't be usable by humans right now. There will be unarmed combat, but right now it's a rough state, just basic punches and blocks. That's awesome in general.
You're going to have it.
Throw a punch and block stuff. I'm good with the basic building blocks of that. There won't be any bomb or capture the flag modes in Star Marine. But they talked about some of their other ideas for Star Marine and Marine Community Meet in the Middle, have some ships involved with FPS, such as destroying certain targets or capturing the Idris. But there's no info on that right now. For the
Capturing the Idris is going to be a lot of fun.
They've talked about that so long, and that is the main gameplay that I want for that. It's almost be a great training ground. It's going to be really awesome. Free flight equivalent in Star Marine. It depends on how the servers do currently. They can play a elimination by yourself if you wanted. So that's free flight equivalent, I guess. I'd like something I could log in with my buddies and not have a structured time game, where you can kind of dick around. Almost like a lot of games have those training lobbies where you can shoot stuff.
Yep.
And stuff like that. But, beggars can't be choosers. Let's just get the 2.6 out, and then we can worry about a shooter lobby system like that or something later. No respawn Star Marine may or may not make the first iteration. That's an important distinction there. So they're talking about like a true elimination match where you don't have a respawn, where it's one shot, like one kill deaths and stuff like that. That's game mode. That could be interesting because I think that'd be a really more hardcore type mode if you refer to it in like a Call of Duty or Battlefield type thing, because that's probably going to be a little more realistic to the PU. Where you're not going to just magically appear again. So it's a good training mechanism for guys to kind of develop and get that whole gameplay. Unfortunately, 99% of the time, that turns into a camping mode in most of these FPS matches where you just sit and hide until somebody else moves and you shoot them in the head and then that's it. But
I feel like in time, all of these things can happen. Like the capture the flags will happen. I mean, this was something I played on the side. I play Overwatch. Yeah. And Overwatch just released arcade mode, where you're doing 3v3 in an elimination mode. You got these like wonky maps where it's all of one kind of hero and just one up and somebody else, or just different kind of maps. I would like to see. I mean, again, we won't have this with 2.6. May not have it with 3.0. In the future, again, when we're further down the line, I feel like all these things will be possibilities, because why not? Because it's fun gameplay.
Absolutely. And, by the sounds of it, from everything they've said in ATV, it sounds like they're breaking off an entire group almost to people to focus on the FPS aspect, and they're almost going to be a team iterating on these type of things on Star Marine and whatnot. So I got a feeling they have many, many plans to keep expanding Star Marine, as an internal game. And I don't want them to take focus away from the main game. That's our key aspect. But I would like to see them over time, or the next couple of years, maybe even post-launch, develop Star Marine into a potential esport with better spectator cameras, tracking where you can audience view and rotate around people and stuff. That would be something cool 3-4 years down the line to like really put in there. So
that is one of the goals behind things in Star Citizen, like Star Marine and Seda Ball. They are going to eventually be esports that people will compete in, both within the universe and outside in championships and what have you. They haven't confirmed whether or not they will support it as an esport, like, you know, actual physical championships and traveling to locations, that kind of deal. But they're excited to see it played out within the game and supported by the community as an official esport.
Mm-hmm. This is an important note at the end of this little TLDR that they said, and somebody had asked a question about mag boots, and I actually got tweeted about this earlier today, and I did want to address this. I know mag boots came up earlier a little bit in the conversation during the show. Somebody asked about mag boots, and they responded by saying mag boots are no longer a thing. They are not a thing anymore. What they're doing is because of geometry is being very complicated, EVA will be handling that and keeping you oriented properly to the surface. Which I have no idea what that means. But
I don't know what that means.
I know. But that wasn't the original role of mag boots, in my idea. Now, it doesn't substantiate, and I'm actually going to take the time to go down into the summary a little bit more. It doesn't substantiate whether that means game-wise, the entire game mag boots are anything. I'm assuming the way this question is answered that is the case, though.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It definitely sounds like they're no longer going to be doing mag boots at all, which is disappointing to say the least.
That's a little heartbreaking.
Because they have constantly said that they are going to do it. Yeah, because somebody said mag boots, and their exact response in the longer version is no. And they said the same exact answer. No, what they're doing is because of geometry, it's very complicated, and EVA will be handling that and keeping you oriented properly to the surface. Yeah. I don't understand that. I'm like, okay. Does that mean it's always going to make you land on your feet when you go towards the surface? Because right now you can land on your face, obviously, if you come in all flubbergasted, which I kind of like, because if you don't like come in at the right angle, you're lay on your face and you look like an idiot, and you usually get shot in the back of the head while you're sprawled out on the ground. Happened to me last night a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Archius is right, where he says crossbow plus a grapple hook plus EVA is better than mag boots. Yeah, because I'm still waiting on my crossbow. So, you know, as soon as
I'm still waiting on the grappling hook pistol attachment from the EVA arena that's supposed to be in Star Marine. Like, if that's a thing that works in Star Marine, I would hope that that's a thing inside the Star Citizen universe. But then again, Star Marine is a video game inside of the video game universe. So it could be a stretch of the imagination even within that perspective. Yeah. I don't know.
I'd say here's the first 5 responses to this entire thread out of how many responses did I get? 63 comments. First 5 are about mag boots. Really? It's like next people said true, but this feels like sometimes compromise had to happen, and to have the game release in 2029 instead of 2030. And then it's like, yeah, it's understandable, but disappointing. And then so the last one I'll read, it says, "What is mag boots?" So you can tell it's what we do. So the rest of us, while we might be a little bit disappointed and heartbroken, new players have no fucking clue what they are anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
That's true.
And the greater scope of the game.
They haven't been in since what?
They were in before
0.8?
I started. Yeah, before I started, because they were in before then, so I never got to see them even except on video. Like somebody.
I think they were only in maybe 1 or 2 iterations of Arena Commander before they disappeared, and that was just kind of the end of it.
Yep.
They are missed, though.
Yeah. And then our people say, wow, they completely scrapped Golden Horizon?
No, I don't think they said that they scrapped it.
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, yeah,
They scrapped
because
the entire thing.
Did they really?
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's gone. Yeah, maybe because
Oh, well.
a million polygon doors. I don't know.
Well, no, I'd say if you listen to the rationale why they redid Star Marine to begin with, that all the sizing were off. I can only imagine if all the models were off and everything else is off, the map was probably off of everything else. So they said, "Fuck all this, let's just redo it, the whole thing," because they probably came up with a new map system that with the levels. Because Golden Horizon was cool, but it was pretty linear, right?
It was fairly linear. It was sort of like a Halo.
Yeah, they tried to make it asymmetrical.
Space station.
Yeah, they tried to make it asymmetrical, but it didn't really have levels. What they show now is a lot more interesting looking with levels and hallways and corridors and stuff.
Well, it seemed like it had levels, but it just seemed like it was multiple single corridor levels.
Yeah.
Stacked on top of each other. So it's a very thin, very tall.
Yeah. Instead of making the actual physical grid as something diverse, it seemed like in Golden Horizon, from the images I remember, they put objects in the way for you to try to traverse, like barrels and shit. Right. You tried to go behind it and huddle. This is like you actually work a corner to get around it, which I think with grenade gameplay is a lot more interesting. Because if you ever think about adding grenades into any game you've ever played where people are hiding behind barrels, it kind of doesn't work out for them very well, because you just throw grenades down the long hallways and you just kill everything that's like behind barrels. So,
or shoot at their butt cheeks as they go running.
Yeah, exactly. Or their toes as they hang out from behind the
their toes. Right. Yeah.
Hit them in the foot and they die. So, all that good stuff. But yeah, so that was the whole realization of that. Let's get over here and we're going to get this wonderful raffle started, sponsored by the Space Bros. So let's get into this. And yeah. Guys, you can enter this. All you have to do is type in !sub. We are...
I'm a sub.
Yep.
I'm subscribed. I'm going in for it too, guys.
There you go. And everybody knows we are trying to push to the last little bits of subs. We are at 2... What am I at? On Twitch? Which I found out today, for those people who are seeking to become streamers and partnered, you get your first paycheck 45 days after the first month you make $100. So essentially, I don't get paid for about 75 days for becoming partnered. So all the money I was making on GameWest, goodbye. It's like just wait 2.5 months before you get a paycheck. So good luck with that. I have 228 subs right now. We're trying to hit 250 because we unlocked 2 more emotes at 250. So we're really close. We only need to get about 22 more subs. So those guys looking to subscribe and increase their chances in all our keyword raffles by 10 times. Think about it. Also, in addition to that, you have to be following both my friends here, Mr. Moonshiner.
Make sure you're following. For fun, make sure you guys are following.
Absolutely. And by no means do you have to subscribe to enter any of our raffles. We have no subscriber-only raffles on my channel at all. You just have to be a follower. But you have to make sure you follow all 3 of us for this specific raffle to qualify as a winner. So if you haven't done that, you can type in !Space Bros, or I'll go ahead and link it out there for you one time. And make sure you are following both these gentlemen on their streams, and they will be checking that following our Q&A section. So, excellent. So let's go over to the Q&A and see what we got there now. And if you guys, again, don't have your questions entered, guys, you can hear them falling. Yeah! I really want to have like a complete rave with like lasers happen every time it goes. Like,
I could see it.
Yeah,
I can see that.
So we'll go down here and again, questions in chat will get you the link to where you need to go. We'll be answering only questions in Discord because you fools really need to be in the Space Bro Discord anyway, and it makes it really convoluted otherwise. So,
yep.
Space Zombies' first question was, which helmet do you like the most? Of the helmet section. This is earlier, before the show. And I know he's referring to, there was a helmet little video that went out and all that stuff. Do you guys see the helmet video? I don't think we showed that.
No. Let's see that real quick. Because
pull that up.
I'm still catching up to some things.
Tell me about these helmets. Look at all those followers coming in.
Yeah.
Look at that. Bam. Good job, guys.
Hook it up. Oh, I gotta show. Before we do that, I gotta show this.
I give away free shit on my channel too, so come by. You know.
Here, I gotta show this real quick too before we get into that. Have you guys seen this GIF?
Let's see.
It's the bestest GIF ever. Have you seen that?
Oh yes.
So good. I love it.
Did I link that? I think.
I can just picture Chris Roberts like standing over here to the side and just like glaring at him like, "What?" I've gotten these looks before.
Actually, didn't he cut out stage left?
Yes.
So he's on the lucky side.
Maybe. I just love that. I just love that image. I just had to share that one real quick.
It's great.
Before I go on to anything else.
What LA really looks like.
We give Sandy such a hard time. I love Sandy, I really do, but they just capture such great images of her sometimes. I have to share.
Yes. That was such a great screen transition when that happened, when she just like turned and.
Oh yeah, and it's like they didn't get, and then it went uncomfortably to Disco and Xylo, and they're both like,
you're like, oh.
They're like, oh hi, we're on camera.
I like how Xylo had this moment where he sort of jumped when he realized.
Yeah, it was so good. So good.
Yeah, it was really funny.
It's really good. All right, this.
1,000-year-old Jimmy Clarkson was great. I liked him in all the transitions, but that was
I
amazing.
assume this is the helmet video they was talking about because there's this one and then there's a newer one too. This is the older one I think that Teller did.
Oh.
That's the old one, I think.
Yeah,
I started talking helmets in my channel
already.
But look at all this is old, but this is over a year old.
Okay. I like the newest helmet, the Cobra Commander helmet that we're soaring all those vaulting.
Oh, that new Marine helmet?
I think the newer one is this.
Cobra!
This one right here. We'll see her running for a minute. Was it this one?
That's nice.
Helmets thing. This is the one with all the concept.
That's a nice helmet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's a great helmet.
I love this one with the split middle.
Squadron 1.
The medium suit one.
Yes.
Zombie's like, the other one. It's like, that's a more specific. Yep, this one. This is really cool because they got the industrial construction hard hat helmet here.
Yo, look at that.
Oh, that's the people on the flight deck. So like on a Bengal or an Idris, the ones that are that's their helmet.
That way you don't run over them. You can see their little yellow bee heads going on. We'll just thumb through it real quick because I got this. Is my son's is the next one. It's his favorite. Coming up here, this one. He likes the Firefighter Spaceman helmet.
Oh, yeah. You know, these are all done by oh shoot, a total brain fart moment.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Omar Ueda. God.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Brain fart.
And then here, I can't remember. This is one of the newer fighter pilot helmets, isn't it? The Viper. Just different concepts of what they were looking at doing.
Right.
This one is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's hot.
I like it because of the way that the mask comes all the way down and doesn't really disrupt the view in any way, and it even goes out to the sides too, so you get your full peripheral vision, and you still have your heads-up display and everything that you need. You're still pretty well covered up and protected, so it's nice. This is
I like this one's probably my favorite, except I'd like it with like a different color trim on it, like either red or black or something like on that instead of white. But it looks so cool because you can see the head-ups display through it, like the LEDs and stuff where it put the hologram on the glass inside for tracking and all that stuff. It looks really neat. I love how they did the reflections in this, so it actually looks like you're looking up inside a warehouse, and and all that stuff. And it's like the mirroring they did on it's really, really neat. It's really cool. And this guy's helmet didn't apparently do him much good because he apparently got rocked in the cheek really hard there.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're there. Maybe he wasn't wearing his helmet, and then they said, "Hey, go ahead and do that."
Oh,
That's why you don't keep the faceplate up.
Yeah.
This is the Dead Space helmet. Is that what this is?
I think so. Where it like closes up all.
Yep.
Oh, that was the medium one. That was one of the first ones we saw. It had a faceplate that closes, and it looks like jaws across the face.
And here's the medium UEE drop down where it goes like Cobra Commander green style. I like these full face helmets like that though. They're really neat. And then you go here's the one that here you go. It's got the extra shielding on it. It shows the animation real quick.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
This way you can get shot in the face, and there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool.
It's super cool.
Turns into like a full-on gimp suit. Awesome.
I want to be able to wear it different styles. Like maybe I put the glass up and just have the mouthpiece over it, you know, or I could like just cover my eyes and have my mouth show.
What I don't understand is why you have that hard piece that comes over the eyes, because we're not Tevarin. We don't have the one-way glass technology. Is that supposed to be some sort of like VR goggles so you can see through some onboard camera?
Maybe it'd be like a pilot link in for a Tevarin ship. Maybe you sit down and like you don't need it because you see through the camera system. You're just gonna stare at the wall anyway.
Right, so. That's possible.
Yeah.
By 29.6, the Oculus Rift has been like condensed down into.
I don't even know if that's condensed.
Sheet of paper.
If you look at it, that's about the thickness. That's about the thickness of the Oculus Rift anyway. There, I mean, it's not that much smaller. It's pretty thick.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that style. Hopefully, they bring that back. Anyway, so yeah, that was that. So I don't know. I'd have to go with the cool morphine helmet. Yeah, that would probably be my favorite.
That's the helmet. That's the helmet I'm talking about right there.
Yeah, that's where I'd go with it.
Yeah.
So
that's basically why.
And then
that's cool.
Zombies also wanted to know if there would be zombies in the future release too. So I was like,
if he's there, absolutely.
Yeah, if you're there, probably. Doesn't mean there won't be some unknown entity in the future that makes you hallucinate or have that kind of like shocker type aspect to it. But yeah, I don't see actual zombies like modes inside Star Citizen. But who knows?
I mean, there could be like crazy aliens that like you have to run away from. Horde mode.
Could be.
Vandal.
Let's see where I was on that. There's that. Okay. Kamikaze had a question. He's like, seeing how they're still doing so much work on the metrics of people holding guns, jumping over obstacles, etc., how far along do you think they really are with Squadron 42? Even at the moment, they only have 2 small Vandal small arms even made to date. So they only have 2 small Vandal guns made to date, according to. Although the Vandal aren't highly reliant on the guns as far as small arms goes. I think they only need a couple basic guns for the Vandal. I'm sure they'll have more than 2, but I'm just saying I don't think they need a huge variety of weapons for them, because I know they also are, as a warrior tribal type people, they only have a couple basic hand-to-hand weapons. The rest are like melee weapons, I think, if I remember correct. So for the greater question, how far along they really are with that, I think they have the entire levels built completely. The story's totally intact. All the videos shot. These are things we know for fact. We know the characters are fully, at least of their core elements, animated. The story-driven aspects for the animation of the characters are done. Everything from what Chris Roberts has said is all polish. So the story itself, as far as we know, is complete. The white box, as far as we know, is complete. It's all polish and final mapping things on there. So they might have some animation draw with the weapons. And even if, let's say they only had 2 Vandal weapons, they don't have to have weapons that we take and keep and all that stuff. It's a single player story. It's not something that's like you're going to keep their weapons and reuse them throughout the entire campaign or something like that. You know what I mean? So you can have generic weapons that they put on them that just look fucking fantastic, but maybe you don't keep any of them. So
if you don't have the appropriate storage space, you can't take it. So
it's really hard to guess like what they're going, like what kind of a story they're going to tell, and like how far along is this and what is this. We have no idea like what kind of story we're going to be playing.
Yeah, well, we know it's one of 3 chapters too, so it's an incomplete story at some element. You're going to get some sort of build up, some sort of climax, but you're not going to get like a final story conclusion. You're going to get something that draws you to the next chapter, obviously, because that's where they're going to want to go with it. Doesn't mean the same characters will be involved in the next chapter. It just means it's going to leave some open-ended possibility of more to some degree. So we'll see where it gets from there. I still think second quarter to middle of next year is definitely a distinct possibility of Squadron 42. I mean, it really depends if they hit any other blockers. It didn't sound like they had much other than subsumption would be the only major blocker, I think, if they're having any problems that we are unaware of with the AI as far as the subsumption goals. Now, that's not saying they couldn't put something out. I mean, they could, but it's probably not up to the level of where they want the AI and the level of where they want the subsumption to be, because they were talking about technical details within the single-player game of people and the AI having lives and doing routines and all that shit that's well beyond what I've ever heard of a single-player game doing, because usually those are just timed animations where characters and to simulate life in a single-player game of shit happening. You save the routines and the other dynamics of AI typically for the open universe. But since they want it all to be the same thing, I think that would be the main part, in my mind at least, that would slow it down. So I'm going to say in between March and July for release next year. So that's just my guess, thrown out in the wind. What do you guys think?
I'm done with dates.
When it's finished,
yeah.
You're done with dates? I'll never be done with dates.
I'm like, honestly, like this, it's nice that they have that schedule up there now. Whatever. I don't really care.
Where's my Squadron 42 schedule?
It's done when it's done. I just really want it to be the best thing ever, because like we've all thrown so much money at this thing. You know, we all have so much hype behind it. I don't want them releasing something that is going to need like a day one update. I'd rather them just take whatever time they need. It'll be done when it's done. Back off and like let them do whatever they're going to do. Listen, I want the best game ever. Take whatever time you need. Make sure it's right. I'll play the game for now. You know, 3.0 is gonna be fun. 2.6 will be fun. 3.3, I get my Bonding Merchantman. Hopefully, that's on that schedule. But you know, whenever Squadron 42 comes out, whatever.
I'm gonna lobby for them. I think monthly instead of Hanger Flare, I would like a ball of yarn to play with, so I could just basically bat it around. And just something. As long as they give me something, I'm happy. I don't need Squadron 42, March, July, whatever. It's whenever. To me, Squadron 42 is an interesting thing, but again, it's a distraction for me to play while I'm waiting for the game I want to come out, and that is the major universe. I know some people out there want the single-player campaign more than anything, but I think more and more those people are coming in as the minority of people. Yes, they want them to show the tech is there and show them that the actual game is there, and I think it's more the newer people that want Squadron 42. It's more for the validation that their investment was well placed. Yes. More than the fact that they're like, oh my God, give me Squadron 42. They just want that reassurance of seeing a finished product from the company as that chapter of the saga of what Star Citizen single-player campaigns will be. And I can totally relate to that and feel that. But at this point, I've had a hell of a time. I've met great people. I chalk everything up to, like, it's been a great experience so far. If things shut down today, God forbid, I'd still mark it as a good experience within my gaming career. So
that shit ain't gonna happen either. And to the guy who just said, you know, Moonshiners, the game will never be done, so that means it will never release. The game will release. The game will be done. They can take whatever time they need. I'm okay. This game is making plenty of money. It ain't going to shut down the studio. There will be tons of people who will buy into this game. They will hit that date whenever they decide that the game is ready.
And I hope the game will never be done in the larger sense of the term. I don't want it to ever be done.
I want them.
No, they have said that the game will never be done. There will be a point where they feel that the quality of the product is to such an extent that they are willing to give it an official release. But even after it hits its official release, it will continue a perpetual state of development because there's always new content to add. There's always the new year's lineup of ships. There's always the new alien race that they've got to create for us to find. There's always the new set of modules that are going to update and replace the original set of modules that they're currently using to create the star bases and so on and so forth. It's never going to end.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm saying the game, I'm talking about like Squadron 42 specifically. I love single player campaigns. It's like my favorite part. I love that we're going to be doing a universe, but I can't wait to play that single player. That'll be fun. I'm interested in what that story is going to be. Again, but they can just build it at like whatever time they need, man.
Yep.
Like we got plenty of shit to play. Star Citizen looked amazing.
I'll be playing. I mean, I'd be happy playing the beta for infinite amount of time if they have it mostly feature complete and they're ready to like just do beta in my face forever. We could do that. It'd be the space porn of all time. I'd love it. All right, next question. Let's see here. We have... Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so how do you feel about players having life and limb insurance? For example, if you, as a limb, eye, etc. damage, maybe get 100K for a new one, or if you have it's covered, if you die, the heir gets a nice settlement. So basically... More specifically, other than just the fact you can have these things replaced, you actually have a type of insurance that you could take where if you lose an appendage or something in game, they would give you just a UEC payout.
At 2946, do we still not have decent health care?
Maybe not. Yeah.
I mean,
are we ever going to get good health care in the world or in space? Jeez.
Maybe not.
Celeste, I'm sure, can chime in and help us out with this one, but it's not something I ever remember hearing about in the lore. But the ship insurance has been around basically from the beginning, so if they ever do decide that that's something they need to have in the game, it'll be very easy for them to put it together.
I would agree with that. I mean, I'm sure they're going to offer a variety, but we also, on the other hand, I don't want it to become so convoluted that it's like, I don't know. It could easily get ridiculous, in other words. It's not hard for this to go off the rails ridiculous-wise and get a little too crazy for my taste, in other words. So we'll see what happens with all that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want them to get too rambunctious on everything. Okay, so next question. Any thoughts about the Herald's role? The designer was hinting at the anniversary stream last week that it might be used for exploration in addition to information gathering. IRC, the current 3.x roadmap doesn't show information-related mechanics, so I'm wondering if the Herald's utility over the next year.
No, I think it's still pretty utilitarian. Even if they don't have all the exploration mechanics in place, like data collection and nebula scanning and there are definitely going to be ways that you could take advantage of it. I'm sure that the sensor systems on board are strong enough that it has a much more powerful ping to affect a much larger area at a much more accurate level than the standard ping, because you have to remember that we're going to have active scanning in the game here very soon, and active scanning is one of those things that ships like the Herald is very good at doing, because it has to gather that information in the first place. Plus, it doesn't necessarily have to be a very large feature drop to make that something that's more capable, because all they have to do is add a little node to, say, the comm arrays, and on top of transmitting and receiving data, the comm arrays receiving and transmitting the data concerning your reputation and whether or not you attack another player as long as it's scanning. Well, as long as it's up and running, what if it's also transmitting data? So if you hop in with a Herald, you have an opportunity to maybe attempt a hack, download the data, and clear out of there before your hack is detected and you're chased down by whatever local police. I mean, that's a first step, but it's a step in the right direction. And without having the ship in place to test even a base form of that mechanic, I don't think it's really worth building. So it's important that they get the ship in. Because with the ship in place and the components coming into place, everything is falling where it needs to go so that you can win this level of Tetris and move on to the next, as it were.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about ships and them, how they release ships into the game, when they decide to release specific ships, at what times, during the developmental process. And mechanics just honestly haven't come into play a lot in that roadmap up to this point, because you see the Starfare came out. It's not like they're in a rush to get fuel mechanics for us harvesting gas or anything. You see other elements. I mean, you have the cargo ships come out, the little utility Argos, and there's really nothing, literally nothing for them to do in the game. Merlins, we could go on and on with all these little ships and stuff. I think, they're very much taking the aspect of like the gameplay and game mechanics will come in when they're ready to release them and start to iterate them. And they don't want to hold ships back that development and design wise, and they had the right artists available. They don't want to hold those back from us necessarily. When a ship's done, they want us to play with it. They want us to check it out. They want us to feel that. They could have held.
They want us to break it.
Yeah, they could have held the Starfare, it being the largest ship that was released to date. They could have held it back and say, hey, until we got the ability to mine gas and turn it to fuel, we'll hold that till then. I think it was much smarter for them to release it when it was ready, because look at all the caveats we had to go through with it. Load it in the game. Make it work. Now you see 5, 6 of them, even in a 24-man server instance. You can see several of them in the game, and they run well still, which is very interesting.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I think the way they did it, even though, I too was like, God, I wish those mechanics ran. I think it's smart for them to, like, even though they're developing the mechanic gameplay on one table, not hold back the ships. Because just because the artists make the ship doesn't mean it has to be wired up for the mechanic at that moment to release to us. Because the flying and everything else of it has to operate correctly before they worry about facilitating the mechanic on it. So you might even see us get things like the prospectors before mining's ever even fully fleshed in, but I don't think so. I think some of those things that will come as they've developed it down the road. Right. So we'll see. You hear what you hear thrice. I don't know what that means. Am I getting an audio bug again or something?
Dave said that you sound a little bit lower.
It could be because I'm away from the microphone.
There you go. Get all up on.
That's all nice.
Get over here. What's up? Here we go. And for our next question on Rick D's Top 40. No. We'll see. What was the next one? Let's see. Should I get a... I have no idea what that is. Zim wanted to know some trolly shit about a pizza.
It was about pizza.
Yeah. That's great. Cool, bro.
Zim!
Just get breadsticks, bro. You don't need the pizza.
I say get a Souvlaki meat lovers pizza. Go all out. Get everything.
Yeah. Extra anchovies. What kind of weapon customization do you think we will have in 2.6? Example of change attachments, scopes, target reticles.
That's a good question. They haven't really touched on a lot of that.
I just want some brass balls to hang from the mag on the bottom of my rifle, but that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. The jingling, baby. I think they're gonna have just. I don't know if they're really gonna worry about too much interchangeability right in the beginning on the first iteration.
Yeah, I'm not expecting much in the way of customization either. Yeah. That's kind of like a secondary or tertiary function in terms of priorities, and so we probably won't see that coming into play until later on. But the same system that we use to do all the customization for our ship loadouts is exactly the same system that they're going to have in place for weapons and any other equipment that you can customize. So they're already working on the system.
Yeah. Yep. They've built all the weapons, like Nighthawk said, with thinking that's their goal. That's their end process, to make these even though they're very different weapons, as customizable as they can, without going insane on it. Like I don't think they want every barrel to change out with each other, but the sights are reasonable, ammo types are reasonable, stocks can be reasonable, different things like that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, but I think 2.6 is, again, it's about getting the game in our hands, letting us break it, and seeing where we're at from there. So, and our last question from Thrace says, how viable do you expect the single-player captaining to be in the PU? I expect to have NPC crew for larger ships at least all of the time, even for guys like yourself in huge orgs, which I'm not a huge org, but some people are.
Huge organization.
Huge org that might be able to help him out once in a while if he gets in trouble. But I will be able to run into small and medium-sized vessels without requiring another player. But will I be able to run small and medium-sized vessels without requiring another player? I'm liable to extremely picky about my PC crew, as I'm wondering just how picky I'll be allowed to be. Crews. We've talked a lot about crews up to now. I think depending on the required, like most ships, all the way up to the mediums, even some of the largest ships up to where you hit capital state, I think will be able to be piloted by a single person. But that means you will not have, in many cases, weapons. You will not have shields. I mean, you could pilot it, but to fully facilitate all the positions of the ship, you're going to have crew on any of the vessels that are multi-crew classified.
The way I heard the question was more like from the approach of I have a Caterpillar, I have a Karak, or even at the freelancer scale. There are multi-crew positions that I would like to have filled out, but I don't trust people enough with what I'm trying to do. Can I pull it off with just an NPC crew?
I'd say
the
yes.
Simplest answer is yes, as confirmed by Chris Roberts. However, he does very clearly state after every time he says yes to this, it's always best to work with other players, because other players are going to be infinitesimally better at getting a mission done in an efficient manner than any possible NPC you could hire. Because even if you're paying out the highest rates to the #1 rated NPC in the entire verse, there's going to be a player out there that's going to kick that NPC's ass flat out. They're going to be better at it because it's what they love to do.
And not
they
only
do it
that, we have to reiterate what Tony Z said, right, regarding NPC crews. NPC crews will only act as an extension of yourself. They will not just operate the ship without you. They will not make command decisions without you. So let's say in many cases where you as the captain are killed, injured, or if you want to be able to leave the ship for some capacity, your NPC crew cannot operate on its own means. It needs you to give commands and protocols and other elements to make it operate. It will not be like, hey guys, go fly over here and I'll meet you over there later. It doesn't work that way. So if you're just looking at, say, in Nighthawk's example, like a Caterpillar moving goods, needing those people there and give commands to your crew, sure, no problem. But if it's like, say, you're on something like a Constellation and you're doing an exploration mission and you want to EVA down to the surface, or you want to take a small craft down to the surface like your Merlin or one of the other things, I don't know that it's possible to leave your NPC crew alone in the ship and do that. I would think maybe, right? Tell them to just hold orbit, but that doesn't mean that they'll be able to hold their own if anything happens to them. But I don't even know if you can leave the ship and leave them by themselves at all. I don't know.
And Thrace, even if you do go with an all NPC crew, there is no guarantee that the crew won't turn on you, because you have to keep your NPC crews happy. Their levels of satisfaction, just as much as their reputations, are going to be a factor in their performance of their crew duties aboard your ship.
Well,
so if you're not paying them the right commissions, if they're not well fed, if they don't feel like they're getting stuff done, for all you know, they're going to leave you stranded on that planet you're exploring and just take your constellation. So,
well, that's not necessarily the case according to what Tony Z said. He said your crew cannot mutiny on you, but they are not slaves.
Oh, he did say that flat
He did
out?
say that. They will not mutiny you. So they aren't going to... Because he said, again, since they're an extension of you, they aren't intelligent enough to just like say, hey, we're going to do this. But you'll lose performance. You lose ability, or they might just sit on their ass and be like, fuck you, I ain't doing shit. You know, it's like that's the whole deal. And if you space an NPC or you try to kill, that's still criminal action. It's not like you can just, they aren't slaves. You don't own them. You hire these NPCs to deal with stuff. So, he said the two factors are they aren't slaves, but because they're your NPC crew, they also won't just mutiny on you automatically or anything like that. Now, players could, but players can also make command decisions if you're not there. If you're both on Discord together or through the in-com system of the game and you're on a away mission on a planet, you can be like, hey, I need help or something like that. NPCs just be like, huh? I don't know. But, I think that's important distinctions to make.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is going to sound weird. And like, I know some people, they want to be like the loner or they just don't really like being social and stuff like that. But go be social. Go join an organization. Join Overwatch. Join Spartan Resource Consortium. Join Test Squadron. Doesn't matter who. Go be social. Go like there are people in this community who are absolutely fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Go make friends. You can trust the people. Like, you don't have to pay your friends. You're going to have to pay NPCs. Yep. But like friends, you can be like, hey, you want to hang out with me? Sure, they'll just come along with you anyway. Sure, you can totally do NPCs. Go make some friends, man. This is such an awesome.
Come fly with me. Help me do transport, and Friday help me mine. Trade off what you do. I mean, a lot of guys will be down to do that stuff. Yeah. But if you truly want to loan, I don't see a problem with it. It's just going to really limit what you can do. It's just like the guys in, take for example, WoW or something. If you want to do a boss raid, you can't solo it. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to. There's no scenario where it's going to happen. You can play the whole game by yourself.
You can queue up nothing, but you don't make any friends, and you do it all by yourself. You don't get the full. You're not going to get the full experience. But go, like, if you just try to go make some friends and just join an organization out there. They're here now, and there are organizations that are super active. I mean, this isn't answering the question about the NPC crew, but I'm just a super proponent of people just finding an organization that is active.
It's called an MMO for a reason.
This really is your answer, though, to the NPC crew, because it's the opposite end of the same spectrum. And I would actually say the same thing. Like, if you can't find your own organization to join, start one. Because if you have a high enough set of standards that you don't feel people meet those standards, you do have the tools there to start your own organization, brand yourself, and interview. You know, if you brand yourself and market yourself smartly, people will be coming to you saying, hey, I like the way you think. I like your approach to the game. I want to work with you. And then you can say, these are my standards. Prove to me that you want to actually work with me.
Yep.
They can conform, or they can move on to another organization. There are plenty out there.
And now's the time to develop relationships with people in the game.
Yes,
I mean, if they're gonna betray you or something, let them do it in the alpha. Let them do it now.
Yep.
Most people aren't going to be, diabolical enough to sit there and be bros with you for like 8, 10 months, 2 years, and then be like, "Ha! Day one of the game. Now I've hosed you over. It's all my whole plot for 2 years to take your, endeavor or something that you just claimed insurance on and got it back anyway. So, and now I'm a criminal. There's a lot of repercussions they're planning in the game where it's like you'd have to have something pretty severe happen to want to just like hose a guy really bad if you've had an established relationship with him. It's just the way I think that the game will go, and from what it sounds like, I think we all have that same perspective. But again, if you even had one buddy and you wanted to run an Idris, I think you could run an Idris with 2 or 3 people and lots of NPCs, but you want the other human there because if you have to step off the bridge, you have to do something, then they can control the NPCs if you need them to, or something of that nature. And that's where organizations come into play.
On those larger scale ships too, when you start talking about things, I mean, even the size of a Starfarer, but Starfarers, Carax, fuck it, Caterpillars even. The Caterpillar is large enough. It's the Caterpillar, they said, is now the length of 2 constellations. That's a big ship.
It's longer than a Starfarer, but just
when you're getting into these larger ships, it's going to be really boring to look at NPC after NPC and have the same NPC conversations with anyone you come across. There's going to be a very dynamic, living sensation about walking around a ship where there are other player-controlled characters, walking up to the player and face-to-face within the game, having a conversation to achieve a goal within the game. It's a big difference. It's a huge experience, and it's a wonderful motivation because it makes everyone feel good. And that at the core is what makes this community great. Everybody supporting one another.
Yeah.
Everybody supports one another.
Absolutely.
And if you guys come from an EVE background, realize that this is not EVE. This is not EVE.
It's not EVE.
Yes, it's a video game. It's a video game in space. That's all they really share. I mean, try to make
aspects.
But just try to make friends with like a few people. I mean, like what's also nice is like the ability to be like affiliate. So like try.
Pump it up.
Yep.
They're chanting. They're cheering you on, man.
Yes. Cheer. Go try to find like 5 people. Like go join an organization if you can get along with like 5 guys or.
And
3 people.
If you really like EVE Online, I played 8 years of EVE, so you can come over and talk to me about it. Because I'll tell you all the things that are exactly like EVE, and all the things that are absolutely not like EVE at all. Because there are similarities, but this is the game many of us old EVE players have been looking for.
Test Squadron, not Test Alliance, so we're not EVE. My God, how many times does that have to be explained?
Trust me, if you know my history, if anybody knows me from EVE, if he was actually in Test Alliance, we probably wouldn't be in this room together right now, because me and Test Alliance don't really jive. So it's a whole different.
Who those guys are.
So Thrace, if you want to talk about this further, feel free to hop into Discord and come find me. I'm in Mitt's Discord server right now. We can talk after the show. My organization is only about 26 people strong. So if that's a little less intimidating than something like what is it? What is it now? Something like 55 billion
55
testes.
billion?
Yeah, 55 billion testes.
Yes.
They've only got the Western Hemisphere of Earth on their side right now. They're working on the rest of it.
We always have people online. We're always there. There's always something going on.
I'm
like that. Just saying.
There you go.
Affiliate.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you want to find out more about Test Alliance, go play EVE Online. I'll tell you about that, because there is no Test Alliance over here in Star Citizen up to this point. I know of. All right, so let's get this beautiful card drawn, guys. We did have one quick question for Archie here. Do you believe that Uncharted systems that aren't on the star map currently, that CIG has talked about, repeatedly be treated similar to Wormhole space in EVE? Jump points collapsing after set time? No. The Uncharted space, they've actually talked about the current jump points. This is more interesting. You know how the Stargates work in EVE Online, where there's static bridges between systems? The actual jump points in Star Citizen have potential to move at times. Not all of them, but the actual things. Yeah, some of them do. So that's what creates this game even more dynamic. In EVE, you wouldn't have that. There's static gates, and then there's random wormholes. In this, there could be random wormholes, but even the main bridges, some of them, may move, which make that role of scanning and observation and exploration that much more important in this game, just to moving around.
And even with the established ones, it's almost like you have to learn their quote unquote seasons, because there are better times to travel through them than others where they fluctuate less, because you have to remember that these are going to be wormholes that you actually fly your ship. It's not a cutscene. It's not A cutaway. This is you still have your hand on the stick, and while this wormhole of space time is undulating all around you and getting close and threatening your very existence, you're trying to stay alive and get out the other side.
Yep.
So yeah, you have to be very alert. And
It's
I'm
really scary when my wormhole undulates, but I really, I really think to draw parallels.
Really
in Eve, as people played Eve know, the wormhole in there, it actually collapses based on the amount of mass, and it can destabilize in time. So they have time metrics and things, and they'll vary and all that. I see some similarities to that with what they're doing in Star Citizen, other than the fact, on top of that, like what Nighthawk was saying, you have to actually pilot your way through the wormhole. You can't just like jump through, blink, and you're on the other side because you pulled out your calculator. You have to actually get through, make sure it's the right mass, make sure it's the right time, and traverse the wormhole. So it's going to take a little more hands-on stick skill, you know.
And that's what makes the Karak so exciting. Mm-hmm. The expanded sensor suite aboard that ship is specifically designed to scan, track, and record all of that jump data. So it not only traverses better, but it remembers how you traversed it, and you could turn around and either keep that data for yourself or sell it on the market as a commodity, either publicly or privately, your choice. But that is something within the game that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. All right, and with that, guys, we will digress and go back to the gift card giveaway here, guys. So if you haven't entered it yet, ! sub in chat. Get in there, get your last seconds of entries before I close it down. We will go ahead and also relink Space Bros in chat. You do need to be following, again, both not only my channel here, but also Moonshiners and Nighthawks. You can get them through those links right there. And make sure to do that.
Yep.
And we will continue to move forward on all this goodies. Yeah. And because I promised, I always put my gold VIPs in there too. But they have to be following their channels, and if they're not, sorry. It's the rules.
Yeah.
It's the rules!
'Tis the rules.
All right. And with that, I think we're going to close her down. All right, let's see who we got here. We'll go to the special place of the raffle window. Gotta have this shit, you know?
Yeah, everybody needs their special place.
We all need a special place in our lives, right? So the raffle window. Let's go ahead and get this thing drawn here, guys. We're going to do this in 3, 2, 1, draw. And it looks like Aquart, I don't think he's here right now, according to that. And he's on cooldown, so that won't work anyway. So let's draw again. How about Pixpew?
Pixpew.
He's not online anymore, but name. Yeah, but Pixpew, he was here earlier and he entered. So those guys check on theirs. I need some of that.
Yeah. How do I search? Here we go. Pixpew isn't following the Moonshiners?
Well, we'll have to reroll that.
Well, womp womp.
Womp womp womp. All right.
It's like I have such a great channel. You guys should come by. I give away free shit too.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, let's see if Thrace Fulton's fooling everybody. Speaking of Thrace.
Thrace. Let's see.
No way. Yay. Let's see it. I'm checking my emails right now.
Well, Asian Glow is checking for all you guys, and I think he's following everybody. Yep. Look at Asian Glow with the programming and stuff. She's checking everybody's stuff. She's like, yep, following Moon, following Nighthawk, like already done. Like we're over here thumbing through stuff. And she's
so
like,
on top
boom,
of it.
Boom. She's all over.
Asian Glow.
Yeah.
She's golden.
She has got it down. All right. So Thrace is the winner.
Well, I don't see me on here. Oh wait, there I am. Yeah, I am. Cool. Awesome. I almost didn't believe it.
Right down.
Didn't say I had to follow the moon. What? You're full of shit. You're full of shit, bro. We said it all night long. You had to follow everybody. That's why we kept linking it, brother. Come on, man.
I wasn't here. I don't remember.
You weren't here.
That's okay, Pix. You don't want to win
good,
stuff.
bro.
That's all right. Whatever. You don't want to come by. That's okay. You do whatever you want.
Additionally, too, though, it will make Pix and other people available for other giveaways down the road. But yeah, guys, make sure to give these guys a follow. Even if you didn't win anything, they're definitely worth watching and hanging out with and doing all that jazz. So we are going to go ahead and wrap it for right now. We are going to come back and do some more gameplay and some more streaming here in about 5 or 10 minutes, guys. So don't go anywhere. We're going to do some more giveaways on my channel. And we got to talk about what you guys are doing next week.
Yes.
So tell me all about your awesomeness and what is happening, Mr. Moonshiners.
I got a podcast on Monday. It's gonna be awesome. On Thursday, I'm doing something really crazy. Can I link something in chat?
Yes.
I'll link something in chat. I need you guys to see this.
This is dangerous.
This is for everybody to go and look at. That's gonna happen on Thursday. I'm doing a cosplay. We raised $600 for Extra Life. Extra Life is a charity that raises money for children's hospitals. Asian Glow and Nax, my moderators, thought it'd be funny if we did something like this. Like, hey, you need a gimmick. And I was like, that sounds kind of crazy. So I made the gun. We bought a $60 suit. I'm gonna do that on Thursday.
Who's gonna do that exact pose, just like that?
that exact pose. You're gonna get that out of me.
Yeah.
We're going kind of hardcore with it too. So
I hope you do the pose in front of the green screen, and then you do a contest afterwards, and whoever does the best job.
I'm just gonna jump up and down, like
$5 gift
certain
card.
streamers out there, and maybe we'll see if this works, because
Oh boy,
we'll see if it's a thing.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna check that out for sure. So
Yeah, me too.
So make sure you guys are there on Thursday, because that shit will be ridiculous. So enjoy yourselves. Yep. And come by on Monday. Monday we do a podcast at 7 p.m. Eastern on my channel. We talk about Star Citizen and stuff, and streamers and the community stuff.
And since you've already followed him, you know exactly where it is.
Yeah, we give away free shit too. Gave away Prowlers last Friday.
There you go. Just a Prowler? I mean, it's not like
Prowler,
a hanger flare.
Some Gladius Valiants and X86s, and I'm just saying, like, sometimes like we give away some fucking epic shit. But if you want to stop by the channel, I don't know, if it's in your interest.
Whatever you want to do, man.
Whatever you want to do. I don't care.
Crazy stuff.
Actually, I totally care. Please come on my channel. I need you. Please give me a fucking follow.
Yeah. There you go.
Is that needy enough?
There you go. Nighthawk, how about you, buddy? What you got coming up?
So I've actually got some time available now. So between raising the baby and working on a project of my own, I'm trying to figure out how to get back into regular streaming schedule until my next big job comes up. So hopefully this week I'll be able to get at least 3 days of streaming in. This week I only managed 1 besides today. So the goal is 3 days next week. Okay. Not necessarily all Star Citizen, unless 2.6 drops. Because I won't lie, I'm a little tired of 2.5. Although I did finally get my dual stick setup working.
Now
so we're
we'll
going to
change
do some
everything.
flight training. We're going to do some flight training.
There you go. There we go. Hopefully new build doesn't ruin all that for you. It's like, oh, here's 2.6.
You know what? Even if it does, I look forward to rebuilding it from scratch, because I'm still trying to figure out what exactly is going on. I don't know if it's the game or if it's my computer, but sometimes it'll read my X52 as input 1, and other times it'll read my T16000 as input 1. So I actually had to set up 2 different dual stick schemes. One for when input 1 is on the T16000, and one for when input 1 is on the X52. I don't know why it does it, but maybe they'll fix it.
Yep. Yep. Now, for the people asking, they update the chart at 1 p.m. Pacific, which is 3 o'clock my time, is normally when they do the update for the sales, which tomorrow is the last day of the sales as well.
I have to interject. Taipao, thank you very much for reminding me. Taipao's right. I've actually started doing on Sundays, no less than 2 hours, where I sit down and I paint miniatures from like Warhammer 40,000,
Oh, cool.
Infinity, War Machine. It's just tabletop hobby day.
That's cool. I used to play a lot of tabletop back when.
Thanks for that, Taipao. Yeah. You should get back into it. Infinity, the game, is a great one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anybody to play with around here anymore like that. So this is my socialization. There's nobody in Kansas City that I actually go hang out with or play games with or do anything anymore.
I get you.
We've just
for me, a lot of it is the hobby of just building the models, painting, basing. I, for years now, have not been doing the game, but a lot of that is based around my social anxieties. And now that I'm trying to combat against that, I'm forcing myself back into it. And as soon as I get some more of these models painted, I'm actually going to be going out and playing the game regularly, because I have 1 or 2 friends who play it.
I like RMS actual. Don't do it, Mitauchi. We love you. It's like, don't go out and be sociable. Stay on the interwebs. Don't go have real people around you. You want all your internet bros. I'm like, I love you guys. All right. Well, and for me, guys, we have a lot of things that have popped off from the channel this week. We're working towards, hopefully by the end of the weekend, 250 subscribers on Twitch. If so, we'll unlock 2 more emotes. Speaking of which, we just unlocked a couple emotes tonight that I've posted up. We now have, I don't know how they unlocked them. Let me check that real quick while I'm talking here. But otherwise, you can always see me every day of the week, at least Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m., usually to 2 p.m. That might be changing a little bit in the coming week because I have to start going to the gym again. Additionally, we have me every single night of the week at 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then Friday nights, obviously, we do the Space Bro Show. Saturdays are always and Sundays are impromptus, but we usually at least put in anywhere from 3 to 12 hours on those days. So I've been streaming still an average of every single day of the week, an average of 60 to 80 hours a week now is where we've been at. So we're kind of been rocking all that stuff out, and we do have new badges up there. They're still approving the new 2 emotes, which is the Mitauchi Kappa, which will be available soon, which is basically me looking pretty smug. And then we have Mitauchi Rage, where I was screaming at my screen, and it looked like an appropriate cap. So we capped those 2, so you got more things to troll and bowl me with there. And if we hit our 250 subs, we'll have 2 more emotes we can add. We've also posted up the new 3-month reoccurring sub badges, which has the beautiful skull with varying sunglasses and hats and all that stuff all the way up to 1 year. So for repetitive subs, you'll get those cool things. We're going to be redoing some of the Game Wisp tiers to encourage people off the $5 tier on Game Wisp and over to either just the Twitch sub or up to the 10 and 25. We also have new website announcements coming up. We have a new monthly giveaway that will hopefully be posted by tomorrow, depending if things clear my bank account. And what else we got? Oh, yeah, we have over what we've bought. We have over, by the end of this weekend, over $10,000 in buyback ships that we've bought, which are now in reserve, where we can unlock and do giveaways. So help me make this Christmas awesome for us, and we'll kind of push up over the hill. We're going to shoot for hopefully 500 subs by the end of the year. We'll see if we can make it happen. I don't know. It's kind of a crazy total, but we'll see what happens there. But either way, thank you guys so much for being here. It's a lot of ships, I'm telling you. It's a lot of money to buy them back too, god damn it. And hopefully everybody will help me make that happen, and it'll be in baseball. So
it'll be interesting to watch the statistics behind that, to see which ships are more popular as giveaways than others.
Yep. And I've actually have an algorithm that I kind of developed that's what based some of my purchases on. So we'll see if that continues to trend forward, because as things roll out in the game, the interest of people shift, right? So
absolutely.
That's just dynamically what happens. So we've kind of planned out for these ships for the moment, and then moving towards a cargo release, a mining release, and things of that nature. So
I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if Prospector is one of the most popular ships on purchase tomorrow.
Thank God we got 11 of them already in buyback, so we are ready to rock and roll on that stuff. So it'll be interesting. But again, just because they're on buyback doesn't mean we had the funding to get them. That rely on you guys out there to help me make that happen each and every time. Again, Moonshiners, thank you so much for being here, bud. I really do appreciate it. And we will make it happen where I appear on your podcast one of these times. I just got to talk to the wife, get that cleared, because I do want to come over there and be on that show. Usually it's me and the wife watching on my phone from swimming lessons while the kids are trying not to drown out in the pool with the lifeguards and the teachers teaching them and stuff. So we're watching the show and watching them have a blast in the pool. And then, Nighthawk, hopefully this becomes a regular thing and you find time to come on the Space Bro show a lot. I love having you here, man, and it's been really fun. So
I always enjoy being here. It's great conversation. It's a good area to hang out. The chat is wonderful and welcoming. The bros are always good company. So this is the kind of place I like being. And now that I have the free time to do it, I'd like to be here as often as I can be.
There we go. We might even have a regular cast from now on. That'd be kind of crazy, wouldn't it?
Oh, that'd be great. You remember when that used to be a thing?
Yeah. Redacted still does a regular cast. I think they're the only one of the podcast that has the
I think so
same
too.
people. I think everybody else kind of mixes it up, but
Yeah. I know Captain's Table is different every weekend.
Yes.
But I like that about the show.
I do like that about the show. I think it's good to rotate people into shows and do stuff. I also think the stability of finding people though that jive well together is also nice. So there's a counter argument to both sides of things. I mean, if we work well with certain people, it's nice having those people repetitively on the show and then throwing a guest in there too whenever you can. So I think that's pretty good.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to go off the air for just a little while, and I will be back with my regular gameplay stream and funness after this, guys. So please hang around, and we'll see you then. To everybody else, again, guys, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate both of you, and thank you all for being here and watching the show. We will put this up on a VOD, hopefully in the next 24 hours for those people who didn't catch the entire thing, so you can listen to us ramble and rate about all the other things that happened with Star Citizen this week. And we'll see you next week, guys, on the Space Bro Show. Thanks again, guys.
Bye, everybody.
I'm a bro. He's a bro. We're all bros.
Everybody's a Space Bro Show. There you go. Gotta love that stuff.
Keenan and Kel. I'm a bro. He's a bro. She's a bro.